A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to Basha High School from Jim Wall Field. It is 6A Central Region football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside my broadcast partner this evening, Mr. Ed Cole. Ed joins me in the broadcast booth. And tonight, as I just mentioned, 6A Central Region football, it doesn't get any better than this. We're talking about two marquee programs right now, Ed. Number 3 in the most recent rankings in the Open Division. Number 3 in the 6A Conference, the Basha Bears, led by Chris McDonald, undefeated at 6-0, taking on the Mountain Pointe Pride, led by their second-year head coach, Eric Lauer. They're 4-2, and you talk about athletes, Ed. We have athletes galore. It's athletes runneth over here in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please go to maxpreps.com and look up Mountain Pointe and Basha and look at their rosters, and you will see under their position, you will see ATH. That means athletes. Every one of both of these football teams have nothing but athletes on their respective squads that play offense, defense, special teams. These are two of the preeminent programs in all of high school football, the lone undefeated teams in the 6A Central section. So this is a huge matchup tonight here on Thursday Night Football here in Chandler, Kevin.
It is a grandioso affair here. We're in the East Valley. We're in Chandler, Arizona, the home of the Basha Bears. It is Jim Wall Stadium, and the Basha Bears and the Mountain Pointe Pride will commence now. The first kick of the evening for the Basha Bears, their place kicker. This is Trevor Miller, and Miller sends this one into the end zone, and it will go over the head of the return men for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Those guys back deep was number 27, Cam Gillum, and Okchun McElwee also back there. A lot of speed in for Eric Lauer's team now in his second year. 4-2 for Mountain Pointe. They lost 2 games in a row, and they've now won their last 2 straight to be 4-2. They'll run out their quarterback. We'll see a couple different quarterbacks here for Mountain Pointe. And we'll see Amir Boyd-Matthews as well as Chris Arviso. And the first play of the game is going to be a run. An open hole on the right side. And running right through there is Mountain Pointe's Amir Williams. Amir Williams, 5'11", 215. He's a senior, and he'll play both sides of the ball tonight here, Ed.
This is a team that's run for 218 yards rushing a game, so this is apropos for them to run the football.
A little swing pass out there from Arviso. Puts the ball in the hands of another playmaker here. That's Amir Williams. Back-to-back touches for Amir Williams. Goes for 13 yards on the first run of the evening here
Kevin,
for Amir Williams.
And you see they like to run the tempo. They were like to force the issue as far as the Pride is. The point goes, Pride goes with their offense.
Absolutely. Amir Williams, an 8-yard reception now. Another pass out in the flat here. And here comes the Basha Bear defense. They answer. Making the catch in the flat was Mason Hill, and that defense over there, up there to torment Mason Hill. First guy there. Looked like Cole Martin was one of those guys over there in the vicinity. No score. First couple minutes of action here from Jim Wall Stadium on the campus of Basha High School. Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. Here's the first tote of the game here for the Prides. This is their running back, and that is Jalen Rushing. And no pun intended, he is one heck of a rusher. This guy possesses a tremendous amount of power. He's 5'10", 198. The junior tailback, you saw a little bit right there of his power and his physical presence. He will absolutely deliver a load when he rushes the football.
Yes, sir. 71 rushes, almost 500 yards rushing, and 5 touchdowns before that run for rushing. So he is living up to his namesake.
He went for 21 yards on 9 carries last week. But Jalen Rushing, as Ed pointed out, almost 500 yards here through the first 6 games here for the ground game for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Working left to right tonight are the Eric Lauer-led Mountain Pointe Pride. The Pride wearing their patented maroon and gold, if you will, those colors of ASU with the maroon helmets and their white road jerseys with the maroon numbers. And they're going to get the benefit of a unsportsmanlike penalty assessed to Chris McDonald's Basha Bears here early on here, and they'll walk it up towards the 30-yard line. Bob Shreves, our AIA referee here this evening. We'll get you the officials here as we move along. 1st and 10 from the Basha Bear 30-yard line. This is Arviso. Slings it to the right side, making the catch and making a move with the football. This time for the Mountain Pointe Pride is Amir Boyd Matthews as he works his way across the far side of the field, right near the numbers, and he gets taken out there by the Basha Bears. But a quick tempo, as you pointed out, Ed, and then a quick hitter there from Arvizo to Amir Boyd Matthews.
Boyd Matthews is one of those athletes we talk about. We may see him at the quarterback position. We saw him right there at the wide receiver spot, and he'll also be playing free safety tonight.
They run a little trap play in the middle for Devin Sparks. Sparks, also another fantastic football player. That name, Devin Sparks, should ring a bell in the family of Felipe Sparks. I want to say that's his cousin. Of course, Jordan Sparks, the fantastic singer. Jordan Sparks won American Idol, I believe, too. Snap back to Arvizo. Pass fires over the middle, and the ball is going to be caught. And then diving for extra yardage right there was the all-region second-team performer, Isaiah Ice Robinson. And Ed, appropriately so, right next to him, position, ATH, another athlete that you talked about, 5'8", 145, a senior. And he's one of those kids. He's been in the end zone twice this season, 20 carries, 211 yards. He's got a 10.6 average. Give him the football. That yard per carry average is just staggering.
Yes, he's one of 6 athletes with 10 or more receptions on this Pride offense.
There goes Terry on row in motion, and they run the football to Rushing, and Rushing is going to take it in and score a touchdown. He literally bulldozes his way into the end zone. 9 yards out, drawing first blood here for the Mountain Pointe Pride, and they take the opening kickoff and go 80 yards and scored on a 9-yard touchdown run from Jalen Rushing. And for Rushing, that is his 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and Jalen Rushing is getting it on here early.
Kevin, we talk about that word athletes. That is exactly what we saw by the Mountain Pointe Pride right there offensively. Devin Sparks, Isaiah Ice Robinson, Amir Boyd Matthews, Jalen Rushing. So Christopher Arvizo used pretty much every one of his weapons that he has at his disposal. This is a football team, ladies and gentlemen. They have 4 athletes with 200 or more yards rushing. Again, the 6 athletes with 10 or more receptions. So they are very deep offensively when I say all that stuff.
Yeah, they are very, very deep, and this is an undefeated football team they're taking on here. The Basha Bears. The Basha Bears have won 12 out of the last 13 games, Ed, and they faced a little adversity here at home. In the opening drive, it's the Mountain Pointe Pride throwing the first punch of this one at the 9-10 mark of the opening quarter. It's Jalen Rushing 9 yards out to punch it in, and boy, he ran with physicality. I think he had 2 carries in that drive, and he delivered punishment on both carries.
And give credit to that offensive line to allow him for that offense to run like they were able to do right there. Give credit to Andrew Owens, Sebastian Enriquez, Jack Piotti, Caleb Jones, and
Kahua Leha.
Leha, yes.
Another one of those young men getting it done in there. Leha. So back deep here for the Basha Bears, they'll have Jeremiah Vessel. He comes from the Bayou. He's out of Louisiana. He will wear number 7 for the Basha Bears. Also joining Vessel in that deep is Cole Martin, number 21. Cole Martin has over 30 FBS Power 5 offers, and you just think about that number. It's staggering for this young man, Cole Martin. He's got a tremendous body, and he's got a lot of football ability. 5'10", 175, another defensive back / athlete for Cole Martin and Chris McDonald. They've got a lot of dudes that they can play tackle football.
Kevin, there's a reason why he's getting all those offers, because Cole Martin's averaging almost 45 yards per kickoff return, almost 16 yards on punt returns.
Here's Cole Martin, a yard before the end zone. Martin starts ahead, cuts it left to the sideline with speed to the edge of the 40, 45, 50, 40, still on his feet, 30, 20, 10, 5. He's going to take the opening kickoff, 99 yards for the house call, coast to coast, to begin this football game for the Basha Bears. Cole Martin for 6. You talk about an encore. The opening drive and the touchdown by Jalen Rushing was the beginning of the opening act. And if the Pride wanted to close that act out right there on the first drive, the encore came in the way of Cole Martin, 99 yards to the house.
Kevin, what a quick and easy way not easy, but what a quick way for Basha to get back there and hopefully equalize the score on their end, with Cole Martin getting that 99-yard return. He already had a long of 91 this year, so he's already surpassed that long of 91 by hitting this 99-yard kickoff return. What a great job by Cole Martin on special teams.
Let's be honest, Ed. He's more than likely has just joined the record books here at Basha High. 99 yards. There's probably not a lot of history of 99-yard success for the Basha Bears, but we will double check that as we move throughout tonight's game. But what a way to start this one here. 8:55 to go. Point after try is up and through. We'll just double check that. Place kicker was Trevor Miller. Trevor Miller is 30 of 31 on point after tries this season. Last week he was 7 for 7. Missed his only field goal opportunity here, but you talk about a little pyrotechnics here early on here. We got a little fireworks. This has been outstanding here. Just 2 possessions each. We're tied at 7. Ed.
Boy, what an action movie. If you're an action movie fan, this is exactly what you're living up to with Mountain Pointe driving down the field. They get the score off of Jalen Matthews, his touchdown run. What a quick up-tempo offense that Mountain Pointe ran, and then Basha gets it back in one play with Cole Martin, 99 yards. So if you're in the action in your football game, if you like the way this kind of game is running in your football, you're going to love this night.
There's a lot to choose from tonight from an entertainment standpoint, no doubt about it. Cam Gillum is back deep here for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Ready to kick is Trevor Miller. Also back deep here for Mountain Pointe is Ahwatukee McElwee. The Miller kick goes to the end zone once again, about 5 yards deep. No return for the Mountain Pointe Pride. No return last time, no problem. They marched 80 yards for a touchdown on the Jalen Rushing, 6th touchdown of the year, and then the answer from Cole Martin, 99 yards. That was just fantastic, and here we go. They put the ball back into the hands. We'll just wait and see. You'll see Amir Boyd Matthews take some snaps, as well as the regular quarterback, if you will, and Mr. Arviso. Christopher Arviso, he wears 12. They run it to the far side of the field, just outside the numbers. It is Arviso again. Handling the rock this time was Amir Williams. Amir Williams, 22 totes, 239 yards on the season. He has 3 rushing touchdowns, but it's the 10.9 yard per carry average. That's just staggering right there, Ed.
This is an impressive football team. So many weapons on offense and defense.
Pickup of 2 for Williams. Pass is thrown, and that's going to be incomplete. He wanted Amir Boyd Matthews in the backfield there. A little swing pass there, but Arviso couldn't connect that time. That'll bring up a 3rd and 8 here from their own 22-yard line in a 7-7 tie with 8:23 to go on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. James Poovy's on the field. He'll join us here later on in this first half. And our technical producer and the man behind the scenes is Mr. Greg Jones. Thank you to Greg for all of his pregame work and every setup nuance that there is. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. That's the near side. Hard count working for Arviso, and he's going to get the man to jump. Nice work of the hard count right there. Jumping was Ty Robinson. Ty Robinson, another one of those outstanding athletes, if you will. He's a defensive end, also a long snapper. 6'2", 225. He has 8 offers, including Arizona Christian University and Puget Sound. So you talked about that early on, Ed. There are so many talented student athletes down here. It's just an incredible opportunity to play football in the great state 48 in 2021.
Oh, Kevin, it really is a wealth of riches here, especially for these 2 programs, Mountain Pointe and Basha. So much talent.
Arviso working out of the gun. Here comes the pressure. He wanted to set up a screen. He can't do it, and he evades the pressure. Initially, he throws over the middle. It's going to be incomplete. Providing the pressure from the backside was Ty Robinson. And we just mentioned about Ty, but Ty Robinson applying some heat on Chris Arviso, and he had to get rid of that football from his own goal line there, but the Basha Bears, their defense stood up on that particular sequence.
Yes, sir. Number 42, Ty Robinson, 3 sacks on the season. Also number 4, Wyatt Milkovic, the junior linebacker, 6'1", 228, also was getting pressure on Arviso, forcing him to throw the ball away. Almost had him in the end zone for a safety.
Here comes Cole Martin one more time to praise us with his incredible ability. The presence of Cole Martin is it's special. And punt formation here for the Pride is Matthew Braun. This kick is end over end, and it's on the sideline. It's going to go out of bounds right near the 45-yard line. So the Basha Bears and head coach Chris McDonald will have excellent field position here to begin their second drive of the opening quarter here. It's 7-7, 8:10 to go, and we'll get a chance to see for the first time tonight the sophomore sensation that is the Basha Bear quarterback, that is Damon Williams Jr., and we talk about, I think you said it already, an embarrassment of riches. This kid, as just a super sophomore, is really a poised young man. He's got a lot of skills, a rocket for an arm. He's got some quicks, great footwork, and he is a real talent. And the treat tonight will be ours watching this young man go to work.
Absolutely. Chris McDonald, the head coach for Basha, loves this kid.
They run it for the first time this evening. They run it up the middle, bouncing out of a tackle, and then getting free momentarily. And he's still on his feet, trying to pick up a block, and still motoring right now is Deshaun Buchanan. And Deshaun Buchanan will end up losing about 5 yards on the carry, but it looked like he ran 35 yards to lose that 5.
At least he kept his motor running, but it took pretty much the entire defense to bring down Deshaun Buchanan, who was running all over the place. They're leading rusher as far as Basha is concerned.
Wanted to get you those guys, the big fellas up front here for the Basha Bears. They got a tremendous line there, led by the big fella, James Duran. He's their left tackle. He's a 2-year starter. He's just a young buck, but he is a really, really good player. Junior now, 6'6", 285. Damon Williams to the outside on a little bubble screen. Making the catch is their leading receiver on this football team. That's Bryson Dedman, catch number 35 for him. 606 yards, 6 touchdowns for Mr. Dedman. We asked Coach McDonald about Bryson. He said, what is it that you like about this young man? And he gave you a long list of things that he liked about him. But one was his character and his work ethic. And he also said that he is a very polished route runner in Mr. Dedman. Bryson Dedman.
And in his sophomore year, he's that polished already at running routes. That's really impressive, Kevin. If he's here for 2 more years, boy, he's really going to have a really great career as he finishes up as a Bear.
I think that's something that's very important for young receivers, that to really make sure they hone in on that route running. That will give them the extra edge. Damon Williams from his own 50, back to pass, steps up in the pocket, looks around, still on his feet, has time, can run with it if he wants. He's going to wind up, throw the deep ball, wide open, and that ball is batted down. Oh my, one of the more spectacular plays that you will see in high school football. Leaving his body and laying out was Amir Boyd Matthews. Give him a pass breakup. Otherwise, that would have been a 44-yard touchdown throw from Damon Williams Jr.
Oh, man, what a fantastic job of Boyd Matthews closing that gap between that Damon Williams Jr. was trying to hit with Bryson Dedman. He had him wide open in the end zone, but Boyd Matthews caught up with him. That's his 4th pass defense of the season. So he's not averse to getting in between a quarterback and a wide receiver and knocking those passes away.
Not at all. For the Basha quarterback, Damon Williams Jr., 1,874 total yards coming into play tonight with 20 accumulative touchdowns, 20 tutties for this super sophomore, Damon Williams Jr. He's only the regional offensive player of the year in the 6A Central region last season. So after that pass breakup on 3rd down, it'll be the punt situation here for the Basha Bears. Miller back on again. This is a high booming kick up into that night sky, and only thing that the Pride could do is make a fair catch around the 5-yard line, and Mason Hill did just that. Good handwork right there, and this is where Chris Arviso and Eric Lauer's Mountain Pointe Pride will go back to work deep inside their own territory. They'll set it up at the, looks like it's right around the 5-yard line, Ed.
And Kevin, how big was it for the Mountain Pointe defense to stop Damon Williams and all of his weapons right there, to at least hopefully in their case, maybe they can drive down and get another score. But it was huge for them to get a stop right there, get a feel for number 9 and all of his weapons, and get a stop there on their first drive.
Yeah, I think it was incredible that they are able to get off the field there on 3rd down there after surrendering that 99-yard kickoff return, and all the momentum had swung towards the Basha Bears. So great defense there this time for the Basha Bears. Making the tackle over there was Wyatt Milkovic. Milkovic, the leading tackler on this team, he just picked up tackle number 52 on this young season, Ed.
And also the young man we're going to talk about, Jack Blyer, number 33, as we will have a Pittsburgh Steeler reference, I'm sure, later on in the game, Kevin, huh?
Whenever you say Blyer, I start to salivate from that Pittsburgh background. I just feel something about Rocky Blyer. The name Blyer, what a household name it is. And
yes.
What a fantastic namesake to have to play the game. I tell you what, that is just fantastic. 5:32 to go, opening quarter, 7-7 tie. We're at the home of the Basha Bears, Jim Wall Stadium, on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. James Poovey will join us here momentarily. This will be a 3rd down and 2 from their own 13-yard line for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Arviso has gone all the way at quarterback. Empty set for him, and now we're going to get a penalty flag here. In fact, make it multiple infractions here.
False start again.
So it looks like some movement here. I like to say the noise is just ridiculous here right now, but it's a modest crowd here for the Basha Bears, the home folks, and the Mountain Pointe Pride traveling from Ahwatukee. Not a big drive for them out of that to the Chandler area here, but a good crowd on hand, to say the least. There's a great baseball game being played, Game 5 in the National League Division Series from Oracle Park in San Francisco. That game is scoreless in the third. It's Arvizo with a 3rd and 7. Empty set, looking left. Here comes the blitz. The pass is nearly intercepted. Nearly intercepting one was that same man again, Wyatt Milkovic. Milkovic got his length in there, and look at the young man, Wyatt Milkovic. He wears number 4. He's got a really, really solid core. Strong man, fast, athletic. Coach Chris McDonald said this young man can play the middle linebacker position as well as anybody in the great state of 48, and he can play from sideline to sideline. That's what you're looking for in a linebacker in the game of 2021, no doubt.
Yes, sir, and his numbers, Barrett, the number 1 tackler on the team, 6 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 7 quarterback hurries at 6'1", 228. Wyatt Milkovic is a player. He is a baller.
Here comes Matthew Braun. Before Matthew Braun can snap the football, we're going to get another penalty here. And it gives us a chance to introduce to you our officiating crew here tonight. The referee is Bob Shreves. Our head linesman is Drew McDonald. The umpire is David Hyams. Our side judge is Tim Vaughn. The back judge is Kanan Keiser. And our line judge is James Moore. Big game, James Moore.
Big game, James.
So again, another penalty here. Eric Lauer was running up the sideline on the far side to take a timeout for his Mountain Pointe Pride. 4:58 to go in this first quarter. Our first pause in the action. We'll take the pause in the action with him. You are watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
What's up? I'm Archie Bradley, and I am Pit Boss.
Archie Bradley! Are you kidding me?
Pit Boss Nation just brought in the beard. Bring the heat with bigger, hotter, and heavier grilling. You do want this smoke. With 8-in-1 cooking versatility, Pit Boss is your starter, setup man, and your closer. Slide in safely with a hot and fast grill job, or go deep with the low and slow cook. With the best value on the market, Pit Boss strikes out the competition. From the Pit Boss family to yours, let's get to work.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Welcome back to Jim Wall Stadium. It's the Basha Bears and the Mountain Pointe Pride. And once again, this will be the 4th consecutive time before we could actually punt the football. We'll get a flag here. Another procedured penalty assessed to the Mountain Pointe Pride. Bob Shreves making that call right there. The man in the white hat from the end zone there. 4:57 to go. First stanza of this one. The Basha Bears, in honor of Susan B. Komen Cancer Awareness Night, wearing their black jerseys with their pink numerals. And I believe there was a young man named Dustin Torres that paved his way on this campus a few years back that was touched by losing his grandmother to that deadly illness, cancer. And he raised enough capital and wanted to develop this uniform in honor of his late grandmother. And that is just, you hear so much negative in the world, in society now, Ed, and that is a refreshing story.
It really is. What a fantastic gesture by Mr. Torres to do the fundraiser to get the jerseys for the football team in honor of his grandmother. I mean, as you mentioned, so much negativity, so many things that just beat us down, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
We don't get enough good news, but to hear this story of Dustin Torres doing this to honor his grandmother and to uplift the football team, uplift this entire program, that's a fantastic story that needs to get out and get like nationwide attention.
Yeah, and you know, they always talk about, you know, what goes on the storylines, how does it work, what takes precedence. They say if it bleeds, it leads, and that's negative, right? That's just, it can't be that way. DeMond Williams from his own 50 is going to call his own number right up the middle, and DeMond Williams carves out about 7 yards right there before we finally got picked up out of that secondary. But Damon Williams, his first carry of the night, he calls his own number 9 right there on the carry.
Between him and Deshaun Buchanan, they've got almost 900 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns. So number 8 and number 9, they are really good runners.
Coming off a 92-yard effort last week and a touchdown. 11 carries, 92 yards in victory last week. Empty set here for Damon Williams Jr. Looking right, fires right, throws a bullet over the middle of the field, right outside the numbers right there. And it was Dedman making the reception right there. Bryson Dedman, his third target of the game, his second catch number 36 on the year for that young man, and it was a chain-moving catch at that.
And they needed that. They need to get some offense going after that first drive stalled out. Williams has got to get his guys down there and, for their sakes, hopefully get a score and take the lead.
Those guys up front, Cole Irvine, Ryan Wheaton, Ryan Blum, Braden Ossio, James Duran. Those guys will make it happen for Damon Williams Jr. He's got one back to his left. Rolls to the near side. Surveys, throws on the run. He throws another bullet pass. The ball's caught on the near sideline. Working up the sideline for extra yardage right there is Logan Fuller. And for Logan Fuller, catch number 8 on the season, 7 for 186 and a tutty before that catch right there. And you talk about a little velocity on the football there. That was a frozen rope from Damon Williams Jr. to Logan Fuller.
Exactly. Williams Jr. just rolled out, saw number 18 get free, and he absolutely rifled that ball to Logan Fuller where only he could catch it.
Williams Jr. to Logan Fuller, good for 20 yards and a 1st and 10 for the Basha Bears, working right to left. This is 1st and goal to go in a 7-7 tie. Snap is back. They put the ball in the ball carrier. That is Buchanan. And Buchanan still on his feet. It's going to take a host of tacklers for the Mountain Pointe Pride to take him down. It was the first guy there for the Pride for Mountain Pointe. Number 43 getting it done. Jackson Mack, another great name. Jackson Mack, Jackson Mack. 6 foot 201. He's just a junior. How about that saying? I'm 6 foot 200 pounder. Jackson Mack's my name. That is just solid.
It's so cool.
2nd and goal from the 7. Snap is back to Damon Williams Jr. He runs it to Buchanan, and Buchanan's going to go off tackle and just run into the end zone untouched. 7 yards for a Basha Bear touchdown. 100 yards and a touchdown last week for Deshaun Buchanan, and he punches it in right here. The leading yardage performer for the Basha Bears, touchdown number 8 for Deshaun Buchanan, and that looked too easy there. You talk about some help on that left side. It was the big guys right there. Braden Ossio and the 2-year starter left tackle James Duran getting it done right there, opening up huge holes there.
Also, it was Cade Price in place of Braden Ossio.
Okay. The snap is back. The hold is there. The kick is on its way, and it's up, and it's good. Trevor Miller is true once again. 2:53 to go in our first quarter. The Basha Bears have moved ahead. They now lead it 14-7 over the Mountain Pointe Pride. Ed, when you look at the rankings for the Arizona Varsity weekly rankings put on there by Ralph Amstead, coming into play tonight in the top 15 in the 6A conference, Mountain Pointe logged in at number 14, the Basha Bears at number 3. And right now for the Basha Bears, they're starting to, at 6-0, starting to enter into a category where people want to compare them with the likes of the Chandler Wolves and the Hamilton Huskies. And Chris McDonald said, I'm not sure why they're doing that, because I didn't agree with the comparison. I said, let Chandler be where they're at in the penthouse on this pedestal all by themselves. They've won 42 consecutive games.
And 6 straight state titles.
6 consecutive state championships. That says an awful lot. The last 2 are in the open division. So
I mean, it's great, Kevin, for Basha to win 12 of 13, but 42 straight and 6 straight state titles. That's putting you in a different pedestal, putting you in a different atmosphere.
So Trevor Miller sends this one about 6 yards over the head of Cam Gillum. No return once again. And if you're Chris McDonald, just talking special teams, it's nice to have a kicker with a leg like that. They can continue to boot him in the end zone. No return, that's king.
Oh, absolutely. Number 27 is kicking the heck out of that ball. It is great to have a complete football team, offense, defense, and special teams, because we know how important special teams is. We saw it last weekend in the NFL, how many games were affected because of special teams, Kevin.
My goodness.
And now it's coming down to the high school level.
I think that was 7 or 8, maybe even 10-plus point after tries were no good. Here's Christopher Arvizo II, once again, a 70% passer for Arvizo. Little play action. Rolls out with time. Deep ball, left side, and the ball is going to be incomplete. Pushed off the play was Mason Hill. He was the intended target. Providing the coverage for the Basha Bears that time was Jeremiah Vessel, and I think Vessel's going to get called for a pass interference penalty. That seemed to be an easy call there for a ball that was hanging up.
Yeah, I think so.
So Bob Shreves with the call. It is indeed pass interference. Our officials are not mic'd up here this evening. 2:46 to go. Quarter number 1 here from Jim Walsh Stadium on the campus of Basha High. We bring to you tonight the cinematography and the pictures from the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. Thursday Night Football. Snap back. They run a sweep again. This is
Boyd Matthews.
Amir Boyd Matthews. 26 carries, 216 yards to go along with 13 receptions for another 191. A dual threat. He can do it in every category. 678 total yards for number 7, Amir Boyd Matthews. There goes Terrion Rowe in motion. They run it to Rushing again. Works that left side, and he's going to get stood up there before he had a chance to get the first down. One of those guys that was making things difficult for the Basha Bears was their big fella. That's Garrett Bancroft. When I say big, I mean 6'5", 280 big, Ed.
That's a big fella. Also, Jackson Browning in on that play, 6'1", 215. Their number 2 tackler, the linebacker.
Boy, what a favorable spot. They got the first down. They run a sweep again to the far side. Running with the football at the time is Amir Williams. Still on his feet. He's got the first down a little bit more. Late penalty markers come in.
Williams on the carry.
Jumping off the pile late for the Basha Bears was Ty Robinson, all 6'2", 225 of them. But another quick snap there from Chris Arvizo and the Mountain Pointe Pride. And we've mentioned it a couple times already here in the first 12, but it's all about the tempo here for Mountain Pointe.
It really is. And for them to have Boyd Matthews and Amir Williams and all their other weapons, the ability to run the football, and even though that's a penalty, that's going to back them up, the fact that they are able to run the football, dictate the tempo of the game, win the time of possession game so far, and also make the Basha Bears defense tired because they're trying to rush and trying to stop these running backs, and they're punishing running backs too, Kevin.
Yeah, they are. They've been delivering a lot of punishment here. Full house backfield again. They run it again, and they run it left. And that's Deshaun Buchanan this time, but the Bears again waiting for Deshaun this time. I don't even think maybe forward progress will get him a yard. Wyatt Milkovic comes up to make the tackle. That's his third tackle of this opening quarter here in a 14-7 Basha Bear lead. If you join us late, you missed a 99-yard kickoff return from Cole Martin. And, boy, that was a lot of fun to see that young man with that burst, the acceleration, and then turning on the afterburners and just cruising to the end zone. Snap back to Arvizo. Play fake this time. Throws off his back foot, and the ball is nearly picked off. Over there, Roman, defensively, there was Deshaun Buchanan. Deshaun Buchanan, he will indeed play both sides of the football, and it's nice to have an athlete that can literally do just that. Make big-time plays offensively and then be a disruptor defensively.
It really is cool, Kevin, to see these young men just play both sides of the football and play it at an extremely high level, right?
Absolutely. At kickoff, it's clear and 70 degrees here. 90, what the heck?
Yeah, it didn't feel like 90, Kevin.
It's a gorgeous 70 degrees here at Jim Walsh Stadium. Arvizo with some time, all kinds of time. He throws, and the ball is caught right here on the boundary. Making the catch was Devin Sparks. Devin Sparks with his 27th reception of the season. 27 for about 170 yards there. Final 26 seconds of quarter number 1 here. This will be 4th and 2 from the Basha Bear 43-yard line. Arvizo remains on the football field. 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field, trying to use the hard count once again. The lone setback here is Devin Sparks, and Devin Sparks received an offer from Arizona Christian University here in the last couple of weeks.
I saw that.
Not too bad, huh?
Wouldn't be kind of great to call his name on quite a few Saturdays coming up, huh?
Yeah, there's all kinds of excitement over there for Jeff Bowen's football team out there in Glendale, Arizona, the home of the Firestorm NAIA Division I program. And I tell you what, it's another means for high school athletes to have that opportunity. Sure, they want to go play for Clemson and Alabama, but those situations don't always present themselves. And, again, you talk about local student athletes that want to continue playing the game of football. ACU and the NAIA is a fantastic home.
Oh, absolutely. The SAC champions, great facilities over there at ACU Firestorm Field, great broadcasters.
The Sooner Athletic Conference champions.
Yes.
Good knowledge right there, Ed Cole.
Gee, how did I know that one?
Gotta know that one. 7.9 seconds remain here. When we come back, it'll be 4th and 2. And does Eric Lauer, does he try to go for it here, Ed, or is there an idea of where?
Well, Kevin, I think the way their offense is running, they're dictating the pace. Basha has not shown a propensity to be able to stop this running game or anybody that Chris Arvizo wants to throw to. So why not go for it on 4th and 2?
Isaac Patterson is checked into the ball game. Jalen Rushing is flanked to the right of Chris Arvizo. It's 4th and 2 from the Bears' 42-yard line. Arvizo to the air, deep ball, and the ball is incomplete. He threw a nice spiral to the diving Amir Boyd Matthews on the near sideline, and it was incomplete. Do you like the play call, Ed?
I do.
Took a little shot down the field. You're in this ball game. It's 14-7, and you're feeling good about what you're doing with the football, and you take a little chance right there if you're Eric Lauer.
Of course. 14-7, your defense is playing well. You know your offense can do things. You can move the ball. You can move the football. And it's just that incompletion. He wasn't able to make that completion to Boyd Matthews, but at least they give it a shot on 4th and 2. Trot their defense back out there and see what they can do against Basha.
Just to play devil's advocate, I don't like the call. I think that they got that power run game. I think they could have run the football up the middle for those 2 yards. When Jalen Rushing does what he does with a 6.5 yard per carry average, to me, that's who you're going to give the football to instead of throwing the ball down the field and having to make Boyd Matthews dive to save the day. With a turnover on downs, here come the Basha Bears. Empty set for Devon Williams Jr. Here comes the pressure, steps up into the deep ball. He's got a receiver open, and the ball is overthrown. He had a man streaking, and that was Bryson Dedman. Once again, he's been the go-to target here early on for Devon Williams Jr., and that time just a little bit too much air underneath that one, but Dedman was open.
Yes, he was. Williams Jr. got that protection from his offensive line. He sat back there. He saw Dedman get that separation from Boyd Matthews, and just like you said, just launched it a little bit too far for Dedman to catch.
Our first 12 minutes are ancient history here from Jim Wall Stadium on the campus of the Basha Bears. We move to the second quarter. Our score, the Basha Bears 14, the Mountain Pointe Pride 7. You're watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
I'm Marty Smith, and I'm a host and reporter for ESPN. When this opportunity came my way to become a member of Pit Boss Nation, I just started laughing, honestly. I started laughing because I was like, first of all, it fits right in my wheelhouse, but second, it's another way to build community. So I'm ready to crank that thing up.
Why do people everywhere love my style checking? It has rewards you'll flip for.
I love my Java rebates!
With my style.
Welcome back to Jim Wall Stadium. The Basha Bears have the football, and they run a sweep, and running right at us, and then getting belted was Jeremiah Vessel. Jeremiah Vessel was running laterally right to us, and it looked like that Isaac Patterson might have gotten the best of him on that lick. What a pop right there by IP.
It was IP, and also Jawan Kennedy, the 5'10", 180-pound linebacker, was also in there.
You talk about a ferocious play right there. 11:30 to go till halftime. 14-7. The number 3 team in the 6A poll is the Basha Bears. Lining up to the near side is Bryson Dedman. Dedman 5 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. Big, big win. Damon Williams Jr. claps his hands. And we're going to get a pause of the action here. Basha's last loss came in the quarterfinals last year against Sandra Day O'Connor. They lost that game in overtime, 26-21. That O'Connor team was led by Donovan Fontaine, who's now playing at ACU.
That's
and of course,
right.
the head coach over there was former Horizon bench boss Steve Casey, who's now retired. So some interesting aspects to the game. The Basha Bears 6-0 on this season here, and you look at the idea of them being an open team with that 6-0 record. Cactus is still also very much a 4A program, but they're still being considered for the open. I think the Saguaro Sabercats checked in at number 13 in the initial rankings. And of course, there's making a huge deal about how a lot of teams are getting their transfers back here tonight. And so there lies some intrigue around the State 48 in high school football. What these teams will look like going forward now for the home stretch. So Damon Williams Jr. back to work here. He had 282 total yards in that 49-3 win over Desert Vista last week. It's Damon Williams from the pocket. Now he's going to scramble. 35, 40 near side, 45, 50, and he's going to be tackled out of bounds right there. Great hustle there by the Pride's Khalil Hayes. Khalil Hayes, 5'10", 166. In a foot race, was able to track down Damon Williams Jr. right there. And you see right there, Ed, just the athleticism for Damon Williams Jr. He's fast, and he just kind of glides. He's got a lot of flair to his game.
Oh, yeah. It's so effortless for Williams Jr. just to get out there, and he sees the defense, and he's able, like you said, to just move and glide around. It's so easy for him. At least it looks easy for him.
Wow, they try to snap it quickly on a 4th and 1 from the Pride 49-yard line. We're going to get a penalty. This one looks like it might be going against the Pride. So both teams trying to use the hard count successfully here. Chris Arviso doing it for the Pride, and now it was Damon Williams Jr. perhaps trying to exercise that same technique right there. But either way, it'll be a 5-yard penalty against Mountain Pointe, and that'll be enough to move the chains here for Williams Jr. in this Basha Bear offense, up 14-7.
No question. The Bears will take that all day, every day. 5 free yards. That'll get you 5 yards closer to the end zone. Gives Williams Jr. that less of a field to work with. He'll take that.
1st and 10 for the Pride 44-yard line, working left to right. There goes Bryson Dedman in motion. They run it in between the tackles, and there's not a lot of room to roam this time. Running the football was Miles Lockhart. Lockhart, all-region second-teamer. Last week in that Desert Vista win, he had 6 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 receptions for 29 yards. Good for a 53 total yard game with a touchdown from Miles Lockhart, a two-way stud for this Chris McDonald football team.
Kevin, that's left guard. Cade Price is down right now. The trainers are looking at him.
Boy, the Basha Bears can ill afford to lose anybody, but you can see Chris McDonald a little bit concerned as he is standing above.
And he should be, Kevin, because that's his second left guard. Braden Osseo is out for the game, so Cade Price was actually replacing the starting left guard.
Cade Osseo. It's been a gorgeous evening here out in the East Valley, Chandler, Arizona, the home of the Basha Bears. And you just think about some of the history that they've had here at Basha. For Chris McDonald, he is in his 4th year. He's the 5th coach overall for the Basha Bears. Tim McBurney started the program. He was there for 6 years, won 39 games up against 21 losses. Then Bernie Buskin out of Mountain View fame. Bernie Buskin was a big-time coach for the Mountain View Toros under Jesse Parker for many, many years. And Bernie Buskin had 4 years here at the helm. He went 31-16 for the Basha Bears. Made some good hires over the years. 2nd and 8 from the 42-yard line. Snap is back to Damon Williams Jr. They run the football, and with a head of steam running the rock straight ahead was Deshaun Buchanan. Nice carry there by Buchanan. It was excellent blocking there up front, too. Those guys on the right side getting it done, Ed.
Oh, absolutely. Cole Irvine, the right tackle. Ryan Wheaton, the right guard. Those guys opening up holes for the running back to get through.
Yeah, James Duran might have something to do with that as well. First down carry there for Buchanan. He'll pick up about 5 yards. Ball spotted on the 31-yard line of the Mountain Pointe Pride here. 10-13 to go till halftime. 14-7 our score. The Basha Bears on the march right now with 3 wide receivers to the left. There goes Buchanan in motion. He's going to catch the ball in the backfield. Make a move, start, stop, spin around, and stays on his feet, continues to lower the pads, and boy, is he a load. He is tough to bring down. The Mountain Pointe Pride were throwing bodies all over him, and he finally got taken down. It looked like it was Amir Boyd Matthews over there to finally get the tackle on Buchanan, but he might have broken maybe 3-4 tackles right there. And the spinorama move as well, and just the delivery of punishment when he lowers those pads. He is tough to bring down, Ed.
Yes, he is. Hits you like a Mack truck when you try to tackle him.
Gain of 5 for Buchanan. That was a tough earned 5. This is Damon Williams Jr. Puts the ball in the hands of Darren Dodd Stringfellow, and he gets popped after positive yardage right there around the 10-yard line. You heard some oohs and ahs after he got drilled right there. Looked like, again, making that tackle was Isaac Patterson, number 22. One of those guys in the vicinity.
Yeah, Dodd Stringfellow, one of those guys that can take the top off of a defense. You look up and down their roster. He's averaging about 21 yards a catch. So when Dodd Stringfellow gets the football, he's prone to get a lot of yards.
Just 1 catch for 12 yards against Desert Vista last weekend. We saw Desert Vista on Thursday Night Football against Corona del Sol a few weeks back, and they looked fantastic under Ty Wisdom. And it's just a difference of what a week makes, right? The Basha Bears a little bit more talented than the Corona del Sol Aztecs. Empty set for Damon Williams. Fires over the middle of the ball. Is too tall for that man right there you just talked about. Looked like it was Dodd Stringfellow. We double-checked the number over there. Yeah, that was indeed.
Yeah, that was him.
Dodd Stringfellow. DeRay Scott was one of tonight's captains. He's also a wide receiver, 6'1", 175 for this Basha Bear offense.
And Kevin, a quick update at left guard. Omri Solomon, number 62, is in right there. He's a 6 foot, 215-pound junior in place of Cade Price, who was in place of Braden Ossio.
Yes, sir. Also checking in on offense here, playing a little tight end, is number 44, Jackson Browning. There goes Dedman in motion. They run it up the middle for Buchanan, and Buchanan's going to walk into the end zone for the second time of the night. Untouched, 12 yards for the house call for the Basha Bears. For Deshaun Buchanan, give him 6.
Down by number 8, David Buchanan.
Buchanan once again in the end zone. Touchdown number 9 for Deshaun Buchanan. 1 behind his quarterback, Damon Williams Jr. And that'll bring up a point after try here at the 8:44 mark of quarter number 2 as Trevor Miller steps onto the field again. He remains perfect here, trying to go 3 for 3. Out of a Logan Fuller hole, the kick is up, and it is true. And we get penalty markers thrown on the point after try here. Rob Shreves is right down there. He will let us know what happened. Nice hold there by Logan Fuller, a wide receiver, of course, on that hands team. Also the holder there, so it just goes to show you the versatility. If you got good hands, you can find a job.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. It's a roughing the kicker penalty. Guess I'll assess that on the kickoff, Kev.
We'd like to mention a well wish for Basha wide receiver Mason Arhin. Arhin had successful surgery today, we believe, and we just want to let that young man know that we were thinking of him here tonight on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. And Mason, I know your teammates wish you a speedy recovery, and perhaps you are here at the ball game tonight. But Mason Arhin, we wish you well, and we'll continue to pray for you, young man.
Amen.
21-7 after the Trevor Miller point after try. Now with the short kick due to the 15-yard roughing the kicker penalty assessed to the Mountain Pointe Pride. Now it'll be Miller from his own 45-yard line, and my guess he's just going to drill this one through the uprights here. Does he try to actually kick it through the uprights? It's on its way. It looks good, and it is.
It is good.
He drilled it through the. That was a 45-yard field goal, but it was on a kick, and so obviously no 3 points for him. But the leg and the thunder leg of Trevor Miller.
Special teams. The importance of it, Kev.
No doubt about it. 8:44 to go to the break. It's 21-7. Basha starting to open things up.
Yeah, 21-0 run so far, Kevin, after that Jalen Matthews touchdown run in the first quarter. When they drove down the field on their opening drive, Basha's been in control since.
We'll see what Chris Arvizo has in store here. It was that opening drive. They pounded it in. They went 80 yards, punted in on a Jalen rushing touchdown, and they've been quieted since. Arvizo will run it a play fake, and he will pass over the middle of the field. Nice play defensively there for the Basha Bears over there. Double twos. Tommy Process with the tackle on Terrion Rowe. Terrion Rowe making the reception there. Second time he was targeted. First reception of the game for Terrion Rowe. In motion for Mountain Pointe is Isaiah Ice Robinson. They run it, and they run it to the near side there with Amir Williams, and Williams gets tripped up there. I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Pit Boss Barbecue, Pit Boss Grills, one of the finer grills that you can work with in the, we call the barbecue. Once again, Amir Williams, the ball carrier. Penalty marker down, Bob Shreves right there. He'll point out the infraction there. It's going to be holding against Mountain Pointe. If you're into that discipline, you like to grill things, you're into barbecuing, it is a whole nother lifestyle as far as what you want to work with and how you want to go about it. But the becoming a pit boss or a pit master or a barbecue lord is not easy to do. It has to be earned, and you might go through a couple pieces of meat before you dial things in.
But, Kevin, it always is easier with Pit Boss equipment.
It is always easier with Pit Boss. You can get it done. They go to the tailback once again. This is Amir Williams. Both these teams have very similar numbers as far as their skill guys. Deshaun Buchanan wears number 8. Amir Williams wears number 8 for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Swing pass there from Arvizo, and he turns it up the field here, but not a lot of green grass to roam through this time, as Amir Williams will give way here for a moment. Checking in for the Pride is Jordan Huff. Jordan Huff, he too received an offer from Arizona Christian University here this past week. Look at Jordan Huff's size, 6'2", 170. He's a wide receiver. Arvizo has 4 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. He'll roll to the far side of the field. Arvizo will throw it, and the ball is intercepted. If he had his feet in bounds, that ball was picked off there by Tommy Process. And let's see if they were able to identify the success of that play. It was a little toe dance to keep his feet in bounds there, but it looked like Process might have intercepted that ball. I'm not sure that he's going to get credit for that, Ed.
I don't know. Let's see. Looks like the defense is they're back out there. I don't think they gave him credit for it.
No, they certainly didn't. But Arvizo going to have a chance to live on here. We'll see if he doesn't maybe pooch it from this spot. It's 4th and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Looks like they're going to, no, they are going to pooch it there. There's a pooch punt. Nearly blocking it for the Basha Bears was Tyson Simmons. All 6'3", 235 pounds came in there on Arvizo. Coach Lauer and the Pride tried to get a little deceptive there with Arvizo, and that he was in that shotgun position, took the snap and just kind of punted it, and it was not the result that they were looking for, Ed.
Well, Kevin, you know they weren't going to go for it on 4th down in their own territory. You know he was going to pooch it eventually. It just took a second for Arvizo to go ahead and do that.
I just want to thank Greg Jones, our cinematographer here, our technical producer. The pictures tonight that we see on our monitor here up at the 50-yard line are magnificent. Hopefully you're enjoying that same clarity at home. High-definition high school football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. It's 21-7 with 7:02 to go. Nearly 5 minutes gone by here in quarter number 2. Damon Williams will open up shop here with an empty set. He's got 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. He scans the field. Still has plenty of time to the 40. He's going to run it now. Tuck it, 45-50, 45-40, and he'll run out of bounds. He'll just cruise out of bounds. Damon Williams Jr. That is why he is the athlete that he is. Just took what the defense gave him. That was a smart play, a heady play by the sophomore quarterback. Great coverage downfield by the Mountain Pointe Pride, and he just took advantage of it with his legs right there. No one had the responsibility on Damon Williams Jr.
Right, and a smart thing for a sophomore quarterback to look down there and see his guys are all covered. Williams Jr. did not try to force the ball down there. He saw he had open field on the right side. Cole Irvine, Ryan Wheaton, the right tackle and right guard respectively, opened that hole for him. He hit that edge, and he was off.
Gain of 24, Williams Jr. Empty set again for him. Fires over the middle field. The ball is going to be caught, and turning towards the middle of the field and getting taken down there was Darren Dodd Stringfellow. He made that move towards the inside of the field and picked up some extra yardage, enough to move the chains here, Ed.
Gets to the 30-yard line. First down, Bears.
Really doesn't take much for the Bears to move down the field, does it? Does it not? Williams Jr. gets a run. He throws the ball to Dodd Stringfellow, and there you are down the field.
Yeah, it's methodical matriculation, as we like to say. 1st and 10 from the Pride 30-yard line. Low snap for Williams. Fires near side again. Making a move there was Dodd Stringfellow once again, and you can see what he likes to do. He likes to do a little shake and bake once he catches the football. He's not just going to accept catching it and staying in his tracks. He's going to do something with it, and he's done enough with it all season long. 15 catches, 307 yards, and a touchdown for Mr. Dodd Stringfellow. How about that name?
How about that?
For a young man that's 5'10", 165, has a little lankiness to him. In fact, he lines up to the slot to the right of Damon Williams Jr. The snap is back. Pass fires near side, caught by Dedman as he makes the catch and then works up the sideline and then is finally knocked out of bounds. Working that sideline for the Mountain Pointe Pride defensively was Khalil Hayes.
Kevin, how impressive is it to have Basha with so many young players? Williams Jr. is a sophomore. Dedman, the young man that just made that catch, he's a sophomore. Dodd Stringfellow is also a sophomore. So these young kids are running this program, and they're running it at an extremely high level.
Yes, they are. And you got to love that fact. I think there's 4 seniors that work in the regular offense for Chris McDonald. This program for the Basha Bears, 6-0 in the 6A conference, are primarily made up of a lot of youth. They've got a ton of sophomores, and these kids played as freshmen a year ago, and they lost in that quarterfinal game. Williams over the middle of the field. The ball is caught for the touchdown. The Basha Bears, DeRay Scott Jr. on the receiving end of that one. And that is a 20-yard strike from Williams Jr. to DeRay Scott Jr. Junior to junior for 6 points.
What a great throw from Williams Jr. to Scott Jr. Just a great throw. He sat back there in the pocket. He saw Scott Jr. shield off that defensive back, and he threw it where only Scott Jr. was able to get it because, as we see it on the replay right there, Scott Jr. did a great job of shielding off and getting that defensive back off of him, and he got it right there. Number 2, Isaiah Ice Robinson was a little bit late getting to the football, and that allowed Scott Jr. to catch that ball in the end zone for the touchdown.
And now we got a botched snap there, and there will be challenges for the special teams group here for the Basha Bears. So no kick in this case, but for Damon Williams Jr., next touchdown pass for him. And for Williams Jr., it was the accuracy of that pass. He had a lot of velocity on it. It was really a well-thrown ball, a little bit away from the defender, as you mentioned it, because he was thrown off a little bit, but he kind of threw DeRay Scott open just a fuzz, and boy, DeRay Scott Jr. made a great catch. The ball was in between the 1 and the 3. Talk about hitting him right there in the chest. Beautifully thrown ball. The accuracy was impressive, and he had the time to throw. Great effort again by that line up front.
That is the word. That is the word I would describe when you talk about Damon Williams Jr. completing 73% of his passes coming into this game. Almost three-quarters of your passes are completed this season for a sophomore, a young man that's continuing to learn this game, Kevin. It's unbelievable what Damon Williams Jr. is doing.
It really is. Touchdown pass number 11 for Damon Williams. 27-7 after the botched point after try. And they'll bring up Mr. Miller once again. Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line on the near hash mark as Miller swings that right leg through it. It's deep. It's end over end. And it will be taken in the end zone one more time for the Mountain Pointe Pride with no return. Back there for the Pride was, looks like in this case, was Willie Tucker. So Willie Tucker wearing 17 for the Pride. 5:44 to go till halftime here. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. We will pass along a score from Oracle Park in San Francisco in Game 5 of the National League Division Series. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers 1, the San Francisco Giants 0. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We call that middle 6, right? Excuse me. We go to bottom 6. It's middle 6 at Oracle. Starting to feel a little mojo. Back to the ground game here for the Mountain Pointe Pride. And it is Amir Williams this time. You have Amir Boyd Matthews and Amir Williams. Amir Williams is one of those guys that plays both sides of the ball.
Both of them do. Both Amirs play both sides of the ball.
Caden Bancroft over there with that tackle this time for the Basha Bears. 2-yard gain here. There goes Sparks in motion. Arvizo will hand it off this time and running with the football right up the middle. If you're Eric Lauer, you do not want to get into a shootout here with Basha right now trailing 27-7. You're clearly not in a shootout, but at the same time, you'd like to keep these guys off the field just a little bit. When I say these guys, we're talking about the playmakers for the Bears, in particular, Damon Williams Jr. and Deshaun Buchanan, and that high-flying act of those wide receivers. Running the football on the far side of the field, there's Devin Sparks. We just talked about Devin. Devin Sparks, 8 for 38 last week, and he had 55 total yards to Devin Sparks. Nice first down carry for him. And once he got that speed to the edge, was able to pick up the necessary yardage to move the sticks. First to 10 from their own 35-yard line is Chris Arvizo and company. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Here comes a blitz. The pass is dumped out over the middle of the field, and the ball is caught by Mason Hill, his second grab of the contest. He's brought down immediately there by Wyatt Milkovic. And Wyatt Milkovic, he continues to make tackles. And as Chris McDonald highlighted for us, he was going to be all over the field. He's done just that here tonight.
Yes, he is. All is advertised.
Gain of 5. 2nd and 5 from the 41-yard line. Arvizo under some pressure. He rolls to the far side. He throws on the run, and the ball is. We'll wait to see if they're going to say he didn't catch it.
Incomplete, no.
James Moore was over there. He said no go. He wanted his target, Mason Hill, once again. Mason Hill did a nice job on that comeback route. He knew his quarterback was being troubled, and he was in peril right there. And as Arvizo threw it on the run, unfortunately for Mason Hill, just couldn't latch onto that one.
Peril is absolutely right. It's number 42, Ty Robinson. When a 6'2", 225-pounder is coming after you, you are in absolute peril, forcing Arvizo to roll out there and try to make that completion, which he was not able to do.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 from their own 41-yard line. Lining up to the near side is Jordan Huff. It's a tight formation here for Eric Lauer's Mountain Pointe Pride. Arvizo to the ground game with a big hole. There's Amir Williams as he spins out of a tackle and takes it into Basha Bear territory. Nice run there by Amir Williams. Everybody's using that spin move right now, and we've seen that the last couple of weeks. I tell you what, when you can use the spin move effectively, you literally put yourself in a free space, right? You just...
Yep. You're just setting yourself out there for whatever happens to you.
We'll give Williams a 7-yard carry there. Play fake for Arvizo. Deep ball, far sideline, and the ball is going to be caught. Amir Boyd Matthews makes the catch. He leaped up in the air and brought that one in. That time he was working on the Basha Bears' Cole Martin. For Cole Martin, 24 tackles on this 6-game season here for the outstanding talent, Cole Martin. I talked to Cody Cameron of Arizona Varsity, and he said that Cole Martin is a really, really good football player. He does all the little things well, and he's fast. He's super strong. He gave him a lot of credit for the strength for Cole Martin, and we saw tremendous athletic ability on that kick return when he went 99 yards for the touchdown.
Oh, no question. It's one of the most thrilling plays in football for a 99-yard kickoff return. It is just unbelievable when you see somebody do that on special teams. That is just a special talent that Cole Martin has, the ability to do that. Again, earlier in the season, he had a 91-yarder, and tonight he gets a 99-yarder. That is just a special young man out there.
It really was a fantastic play. All right, back to the ground game here for Mountain Pointe. And the linemen converging towards the football. There's a lot of congestion in the middle there. Browning make the tackle there on Devin Sparks. So nice tackle there by double fours, Mr. Browning. for Jackson Browning, an all-region performer in that 6A Central region. Tackle number 50 on the year for Jackson Browning. A loss of 12. In fact, give him another TFL. It's 6.5. Arvizo back to the pass. He throws it out into flat. It's Amir Williams, and Amir Williams is going to lower the shoulder and pick up extra yardage right there.
Williams on the reception.
He was going after Cole Martin right there. You had Amir Williams on Cole Martin, and you talk about two dudes going at it. A little jousting over there, but it was Amir Williams lowering the headgear and the shoulder pad, and it looked like Cole Martin held his own on that particular play.
Yeah, it's like who's going to budge right there? Two fantastic athletes coming together just to smash each other right there. An absolute car crash, but who's come out victorious on that one? It's always exciting to see that.
3rd and 9 for the Bear, 47-yard line. Arvizo from the pocket, pressure from the backside. He dumps it off to Amir Williams out on the far boundary, and he makes the catch, and then he gets tackled. Behind the play was a penalty marker here. I'm thinking that Arvizo was roughed up a little bit. The last guy coming away from the action, if you will, is Jackson Browning. So we'll see what this is all about. Bob Shreve is with the call here.
Yeah, that is Browning. They got him for roughing the passer.
In the 24-0 game when these two teams played each other, this is the 10th battle between Mountain Pointe and Basha. And in the 9th game, it was a 24-0 victory for the Basha Bears with the shutout. In that game, Jackson Browning had 10 tackles, a TFL, and a half sack. He's looking good here again against the Pride of the Night. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line of Basha. Snap is back to Arvizo. Steps in the pocket, throws the deep ball. The middle ball is going to be caught around the goal line. Making a sensational catch was Isaiah Ice Robinson. He makes the catch at what looks to be the 1-yard line right there, and they're going to spot the football down at the 1. Fantastic throw and an even better catch. Unofficially a gain of 29 yards. 1st and goal to go, Pride, trailing 27-7. This will be, he's got rushing back there along with Amir Williams. And we're going to have a touchdown for the Mountain Pointe Pride. 54 to go to intermission. Our new score, the Basha Bears 27 and the Mountain Pointe Pride 14. Ed, I am disgruntled to inform you at Oracle Park at the bottom of the 6th inning. It's now 1-1, San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Well, you know it was going to be like that. Game 5 at Oracle, the Giants and the Dodgers, one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. You knew it would probably maybe come down to the 9th inning or maybe extra innings. You knew the Giants weren't going to go into the night.
Darren Ruff, a solo home run off Julio Urias.
Whoa.
1-1 tie. 1:54 to go in this one. We extend the invitation to stay with us for all of our halftime festivities coming up here at Jim Wall Stadium. It's been an entertaining first half on a glorious Arizona evening. We love that fall weather. Hey, I'm digging the fall weather. Are you enjoying the fall weather?
Oh, absolutely. I love this time of the year. Makes me miss the East Coast. Makes me miss home.
Just a little bit. I was trying to double check on the Basha Bears record, and I'm unable to locate that information. But I got to believe that Cole Martin, the 99-yard touchdown return, was the longest in Basha Bear history. Now, they have had several athletes that have been incredible. Deshaun Goodman comes to mind in that special teams game, among others. It's the Basha Bears will pick it up. This is Vessel, near side. He's going to be grabbed in the open field. Tremendous open field tackle there by Jock Jones. We'll double check that one. Jacqueus.
Jock Jones.
I've seen that pronounced several ways. I'm going with Jock Jones.
It could also be Jacquez.
It could be Jacquez. I've seen it. I've seen people say no, it's JQs. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but Jacquez.
Jacquez, maybe. Mr. Jones.
I think it's actually Jacquez Jones. That makes the most sense. Jacquez. What was the other one you suggested?
Jock.
I think it's
Jock Jones.
Jacquez Jones. 7 tackles in that previous meeting against the Basha Bears. DeMont Williams Jr., empty set. Looks over the middle field. Here comes the pressure. Escapes the pressure. He's going to go down. He's going to get sacked. Tremendous defensive play there by Khalil Hayes. So Khalil Hayes, a defensive back, making some plays there. Looked like he played a little bit of linebacker right there, but Khalil Hayes gets the quarterback sack.
Second down for the Bears.
Nice bit of defensive play there. That's the first sack of the season for Khalil Hayes. The 5th and a half sack for this Mountain Pointe Pride defense along the way. Basha, 1,272 rushing yards on the campaign. The leading rushing team in the 6A conference. Take a guess, Ed. Ball is fired over the middle, and the ball will be incomplete. The target was Dodd Stringfellow. Good pass there, and it looked like it was a catchable ball, but Dodd Stringfellow unable to haul that one in.
Answer your trivia question. Mountain Pointe's actually the leading rushing team at 1,308 yards.
That was the answer.
That's the answer.
The question was, who's the top leading rushing team in the 6A conference? The answer will be the Mountain Pointe Pride. 1,308 yards coming into tonight's game. That is number 1 in the 6A conference.
And that is an average of 218 a game.
And that's 1,272 for the Basha Bears. They're right behind them. 60 seconds to go in half number 1. 27-14 our score. Basha with the football on their own 35-yard line. There goes Miles Lockhart in motion. Williams Jr. has all kinds of time. Wanted to go the deep ball. Still has all kinds of time. Nobody's pressuring Damon Williams Jr. He fires, and the ball is caught, and then the pass is broken up. The intended target was Duran Dodd Stringfellow, and roving the middle, playing a little defense. This time it was the hitman, Amir Boyd Matthews. You talk about some ball separation right there. Stringfellow had no idea what hit him.
Wow, and we could hear that hit up here, all the way up at the top near the press box. We heard that shot from Boyd Matthews on Dodd Stringfellow. What a great way of him getting the ball from Dodd Stringfellow and knocking it away from him with that violent collision.
Ball separation is just so fun to see. Now, I don't know who this is. I'm going to speculate this is Amir Williams, number 8. Looks like he might be cramping a little bit here. And again, we're just speculating on that note. 46.9 to go till halftime. For Damon Williams Jr., in 15 games played, it was indeed Amir Williams. So hopefully he's okay. In 15 games played for Williams Jr., he has 10 games of 200-plus yards. His career high is 315 yards against Brophy College Prep. But he's had 9 straight 200-plus yard passing games until last week. He went for 180, 190 last week. But this is just a sophomore that we refer to. Have you seen the news around the Great State 48 as it relates to quarterbacks on to the next level? Spencer Rattler benched last week for the Oklahoma Sooners. Maybe a rift between head coach Lincoln Riley and Spencer Rattler. Now we see in the morning fish wrap that Spencer Rattler being linked to maybe transferring back home, Arizona State, maybe U of A, possible destinations. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Ed Cole? The most prolific passer in Arizona high school history, Spencer Rattler of the Oklahoma Sooners.
I don't know about that. So you get benched because of bad play in that game. Yes, I know it was a huge game, but for you to then immediately say, okay, I'm ready to transfer, I want to come back to Arizona. Do you think it was something brewing a long time coming between him and Lincoln Riley, or it couldn't have just been because of one poor performance against Texas?
You wouldn't think so, but he got benched once last year as well, and you know the quick hook.
This had to have been brewing, right?
Yeah, I would think something is simmering, as they say. There's something that's going on there. But Lincoln Riley, I mean, I don't know what other place you could go in the country to have a better offensive mind working with you. I think you got to just be patient and kind of work through that. Arvizo steps up in the pocket, looks for the deep ball, right sideline. The ball is in and out of the hands of Amir Boyd Matthews. It's clear, Ed, that they want to go to Boyd Matthews here. He is clearly one of the better playmakers on the field here tonight.
Oh, no question. He is one of those true athletes that he's just so explosive. At 6'2", 170, he's got that length and that reach, and his ability to jump up high over those defensive backs and makes those kinds of catches that Arvizo is trying to throw to him. Absolutely, Arvizo is going to try to get the ball to number 7.
2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. Arvizo back in the gun. Wants to set up a play here. There's nobody home. Arvizo scrambles to the far side, and he throws a pass on the far sideline. Making the catch was Devin Sparks. Penalty markers come in. Umpire indicates illegal man downfield, and that is going to be tough. Applying some pressure on the outside for the Basha Bears was Garrett Bancroft. We mentioned Garrett early on in the game, 6'5", 280. You gotta love that size here. Temperatures are starting to drop just a little bit here. Part of our crew starting to bundle up here on this glorious Arizona evening. Temperatures have dropped below 70 degrees, 66 degrees here now in Chandler, Arizona. So Arvizo, a 70% passer on the campaign, 972 yards entering play of the night with 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's also been effective on the ground with 3 rushing touchdowns for the quarterback, the signal caller of the Mountain Pointe Pride. So with 19.4 ticks to go in half number 1 in a 27-14 ball game, the Pride have the rock facing a 2nd and 15 on their own 16-yard line. And lo and behold, we're going to get a pause in the action. We're going to get a little timeout here. And with this, we'll take a quick timeout as well. You're watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
Make every day game day and never miss a moment from your favorite team with the AZ Preps 365 Live High School Sports app. The official app for all Arizona high school sports teams gives fans instant access to up-to-the-minute scores, news, highlights, and much more. Customize the app to fit your needs, whether you're a student, coach, parent, or player. Download it now for free. Available in both the Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Welcome back to Jim Ross Stadium on the campus of Basha High School. 27-14 ball game. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. What a night for sports viewing at home. You've got Thursday Night Football. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we mentioned about that baseball game. I am envious of anybody at home watching football tonight. And why not just take a snap and let this clock run out here for half number 1. We will go to the locker room with a 27-14 score. The number 3 team in the state, the Basha Bears, in command here, Ed.
It's impressive, as you mentioned, what Cole Martin was able to do. So Mountain Pointe gets a score right off the opening drive. Jalen Matthews gets a touchdown run off an 80-yard drive. You're thinking Mountain Pointe's got to – they come out right out of the bat, and they punch them right in the mouth. They punched the Basha Bears right in the mouth. Then
they came to play, right?
Yes, they did.
They came to play.
But then the Bears came to play as well. They run off 27 straight points as Cole Martin gets a kickoff return. Deshaun Buchanan has 2 touchdown runs. Doré Scott Jr. has a touchdown catch. And then Mountain Pointe rallied back with a rushing touchdown at the end. Also aided by an Isaiah Ice Robinson fantastic catch. So it was huge for Mountain Pointe to get that score right there, Kevin, to stop that bleeding, that 27-point run right there.
It was just for the vote of confidence going into the locker room here at the break. Eric Lauer's team needed to show something. And, keep in mind, the Mountain Pointe Pride, before this season began, they were 1-16. They're 4-2 now, so things are changing for the Mountain Pointe Pride, and they're changing for the better. This has been a good football game here in the first half. And you know what? Don't count anybody out here from what we've seen early on in the first 6 weeks of high school football. You just can't count anybody out.
Absolutely. But it's going to be imperative for Mountain Pointe to get off to a fast start in that second half, because we know Basha's going to get the ball in the second half. So what they have to do defensively is going to dictate what's going to happen in the second half. What adjustments are they going to make in the locker room right now? What is head coach Eric Lauer and his guys going to do to combat what Damon Williams Jr. and his offense was able to do, and what they were able to do special teams-wise with Cole Martin? There's so many questions that have to be answered from the Pride standpoint on how to stop this Basha Bears football team at home.
Yeah, and the Pride have played a pretty solid first half. I mean, they're still competing. They're thumping guys. They're making it difficult. It's not like Williams Jr. is just picking apart, has 350 yards passing in the first half. He's had to work for his success. And then we've seen a little more balance maybe than we thought we would see with that ground game. But Deshaun Buchanan, a couple more touchdowns for him. He continues to be impressive. And then I just like the toughness of Amir Williams and Amir Boyd Matthews. Those guys have just battled here And I think if Chris Arvizo can get a little time and perhaps they can run more precise routes, get some receivers open, they have a chance to move the football. But, hey, why would you not want to continue to run Jalen Rushing? I mean, he's got rushing in his name.
Of course.
He's their leading rusher. He's over 500 yards now with mega amounts of touchdowns. I think he's got 7 of those with 2 tonight. I'm thinking that's the guy I want to go to. I would like to lean on him. And then if you have to lean on Amir Boyd-Matthews, do that because he's a playmaker as well. In fact, maybe that's the change. We see Amir Boyd-Matthews at quarterback here in this second half.
Possibly. Yeah, that's Amir Boyd-Matthews. He's got 32 attempts this year. He's thrown for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's not like Boyd-Matthews has no experience back there at the quarterback position. So you're right. Maybe they do make that adjustment. But let's see what if they come out and they get the ball to Isaiah Ice Robinson. We saw him with a big play toward the end, helping them get that score. Devon Sparks, what's he going to do? Terrion Rowe. There's so much talent up and down this offense for Mountain Pointe, but they've got to be able to get these guys active and make them make plays and get some scores if they want to keep up with Basha.
They really do. 12:30 to go on the Longship scoreboard here at halftime. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more conversation. It's the Basha Bears and the Mountain Pointe Pride. You are watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
My name is Slade Gibson, owner of Trinity Homes AZ.
My name is Becky Gibson. I'm co-owner and lead designer.
We started Trinity Homes in a leap of faith back in 2004. After working for many other builders, we had decided to go ahead and start our own company so we could really work with the clients and have the same type of values that we do in our family. Our mission here at Trinity Homes AZ is to work side by side with each customer, making their home become their dream.
A common theme with our company is that we are not only building homes, but we're building relationships. And in the end, that's very important to us.
We have over 30 years of experience here at Trinity Homes, all the way from our project managers, our superintendents, our lead design. We can serve each and every client with their specific needs.
Parenting sure is full of mysteries, huh? That's why, at the Little Gym, everything we do is designed to make sure kids are whatever ready. Ready to learn. Ready for takeoff. Ready to rock. Ready to roll. And ready to shake it off and keep going. Our classes are based on lesson plans designed to get kids of all ages moving. boost their brain power, and with an emphasis on social and emotional learning, even improve the people skills they'll need for tomorrow, today. We call it three-dimensional learning. Kids just call it fun. More than a kid's gym, the Little Gym is a springboard for life's adventures. And every day, we're making, energizing, and inspiring whatever-ready kids.
Taylor's Pools. You can trust Taylor to take great care of your pool and ensure your complete satisfaction. From weekly cleanings to one-time cleanings, from pool draining to pool refilling, he does it all. Green to clear transformations, repairs, and new equipment installations. Trust your pool to Taylor's Pools. Call 623-200-2788. That's 623-200-2788. Taylor's Pools, a proud partner of Thursday Night Football.
Let's be honest, the world has changed. Everything is done a little differently now. But what hasn't changed is the time that you spend with us is still amazing. And even though things have been tough, we're here to help you unwind. Sheraton Tucson, showing you that the good times are back. We can't wait to see you. So get ready. It's time to check in.
I'm Eric Almirola, and I drive in the NASCAR Cup Series. I like to think of myself as a fun-loving guy. I have a wife and two beautiful children. I've really enjoyed the partnership that I've had with Pit Boss, and that it's still very new and very fresh, but it just feels so authentic. It feels so real, so just easy and down to earth, and I just really enjoy that.
Make every day game day and never miss a moment from your favorite team with the AZ Preps 365 Live High School Sports app. The official app for all Arizona high school sports teams gives fans instant access to up-to-the-minute scores, news, highlights, and much more. Customize the app to fit your needs, whether you're a student, coach, parent, or player. Download it now for free. Available in both the Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Welcome back to Jim Wall Stadium on the campus of Basha High School. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. Joining us here at halftime is the man, one of the most sincere, bright stars around the media circuit when it comes to covering high school football from Arizona Varsity. It's Cody Cameron. Cody, CC, my guy, how are you?
I'm good, man. I didn't even have to pay you to say that this season. Look at that, Kevin.
I tell you what, we're a lot of checks are rolling in right now. We can't even catch up to them. We just catch them down the road and then cash them. But your thoughts on this game here, 27-14 at the break. We talk about playmakers galore here. It's an embarrassment of riches on both sides of the football.
It really is, man. If you look at the running backs here, too, we were talking about highlighting some of these stars before the game. Me and you were down on the field, and you said, hey, who's a player over at Basha you think is going to play really well tonight? And I told you Day Buchanan.
Yeah.
And this kid is a stud, not only in the rushing game, man, but you watch him in the passing game with Damon Williams. He's an extra threat, and it's almost like a run, a lot of the checkdowns they do at their RPO game. And he is a monster. You see him spinning away from guys. Like you said, his 2 touchdowns untouched. That talks about the offensive line play for Basha, which is phenomenal in itself. But Day is explosive. He plays defense as well. All these Basha kids play defense as well. They're all over the football field. You talk about athletes, there's no shortcoming of them on this football field tonight.
And I guess if you're going to be called Day, I mean, anybody called Day right now, Chandler's Day Hunter, what is he going running roughshot? Is he at Hawaii now?
Hawaii now, man, starting running back.
The name Day, if you're named Day, you got to have some game. And this young man, Mr. Buchanan, has some game.
And if you look at the other side with Mountain Pointe, let's get the running game to continue to go. Jalen Rushing and Amir Williams are 2 phenomenal running backs for the Pride. They're big body running backs, north to south runners. They are phenomenal. Let's get them going in the second half, maybe cut the lead.
Yeah, we talked about that first drive, 80-yard drive. They pounded in with Rushing, a big-time touchdown, delivering punishment as he scored, and then they went away from that. Ed, your thoughts? What do you think they should do going into the second half?
I mean, it's amazing that you've got the top 2 running teams in the 6A, a Mountain Pointe and Basha respectively. But yes, as you mentioned, just run the ball. You've got some of the best running backs in the nation, in the country. As you mentioned, Rushing and Amir Williams, Boyd Matthews. You're not devoid of talent for either one of these football teams, but it's imperative that Mountain Pointe stops Basha on this opening drive, as you mentioned, because if they get off to another start, if Williams Jr. gets hot in his offense, drives down the field, and you're up you're up at least one more score. You're up 20 points or more. Ooh, it's going to be tough for the Pride.
And Basha has that ability. Damon Williams is so special. Another thing I told you, I said, hey, this is a dual threat quarterback. He's a pocket passer. He's looking to pass first. He progresses really well. The most impressive thing about him, when he turns and goes and runs, he is explosive. Damon Williams can score at any point in a series. And he's got talented receivers all over the field too. But like you were talking about here with Mountain Pointe's rushing attack, hey, I understand they want to be balanced, right? Everybody looks for a balanced offense. That play action is going to come when you set that running game going. I know it sounds vanilla, but you guys are averaging about 6 to 7 yards a carry. Keep that going. You want to go over the top with Amir Boyd? You can do that with play action pass, man. He's going to get his one-on-one targets, and he's going to win those 50-50 balls, but you have to get the ground game going.
Cody, who for you on Mountain Pointe's defense is going to have to be able to step up and affect Damon Williams Jr. and what he's able to do offensively?
So to me, you need a spy, right? You can bring 4, but you got to keep a guy in for a spy. And there's a player out there. He's a two-way senior for them. His name's Terrion Rowe. Plays receiver. He's a nickel defensive back for them. He is fast. He could stay with him, and he's a great tackler. Amir Boyd, you have seen him defensively in the secondary make a bunch of plays there at deep safety. That is a guy you can keep back there, and if you spotlight a player like Damon Williams and Terrion Rowe, and it matters what type of formation Bash is in, but you spotlight him, keep him in the pocket between the tackles, good things will happen. That's what I think Mountain Pointe's probably going to do when they come out here, probably put a spy on him, and maybe get after the quarterback just a little bit more.
Terrion Rowe, offer this week from ACU, so that's pretty cool. And also an offer from Wisconsin River Falls for Terrion Rowe, 6'1", 165, 2 points. One to go back to Damon Williams Jr. You talk about him, running the offense, wants to be a passer first. I thought he showed a lot of patience wanting to be a passer. He really did. He clearly wanted to throw the football under the progressions. If it wasn't there, he could take off and run it. He's a dual threat in that regard, but he does have that patience to go through those progressions. He's looking for everybody, and as we mentioned, he's got a ton of time. That offensive line has been big tonight. Changing the topic entirely, we got 3 minutes to go. We're talking open football. The Cactus Cobras, I think, are 6-0 right now. It's a chance for them to get in. We saw it last year a little bit with Horizon, some other teams, or year before that. But the open division, has it run its course? Is Saguaro in the 13th spot right now before their transfers?
Sure.
Is it working in your opinion? Do you like how it's working? Because now they're thinking about changing the format. I thought it worked when when the teams in the lower levels were powerful enough to play with the 6A conference. Sure. We haven't seen that in the last year or so, maybe. Everyone still thinks Saguaro is a huge juggernaut. I'm not sold on that. But your thoughts on the open?
The open works, right? I think it is good for the state, but the way they do it with the computer rankings does not work. Guys, we cannot have And I'm talking about good football teams here, but an undefeated Desert View team who's undefeated in Tucson and 5A, they would lose to probably about 16 6A teams here in the Phoenix area.
Absolutely.
Guys, A.L.A. Quinn Creek, another really good team in 4A, they are not going to beat most of the teams in 6A football. We cannot have that. So when you look at the first rankings, which were just computer rankings, we can't have teams like that in there, and not a Highland, not a Liberty. Guys, Liberty would beat a lot of those teams 50-0. We can't have that. And so I look at like Highland, Chaparral, Liberty, Red Mountain, teams that have consistently won on a consistent basis at the highest level. I don't care if they have 2 losses, right? I mean, we have a Highland team. They might lose to Chandler, Basha, and Hamilton. Those are the top 3 programs in the state. I'm not going to put a 10-0 4A team above them. That Highland would win that football game. So Cactus is the outlier this year because of the way they're beating teams, right? Like they've taken it to Desert Edge. They've taken it to Sunrise Mountain. Sunrise Mountain went 3 overtimes with Liberty. So maybe that's the outlier. And there might be one outlier here or there, and maybe they deserve that right, but that's a good football team.
It is.
A.L.A. Quinn Creek lost to Saguaro. Head-to-head has to mean something, in my opinion. And so, no, I do not think it's an effective way right now.
Coach Ortiz doing a great job for Cactus. We've been there calling games for AC. We've been to that facility. We know what they're all about. They got some dudes this year. They look like they're playing the part. But when we really get to the grand scheme of things, it's not a good fit.
Yep.
And we hate to see those early blowouts, those quarterfinal blowouts by 60 or 70 points. Just something to see. A quick thought for me personally. Your thoughts on my Red Mountain Mountain Lions, huh?
I think they look good, man. Me and you talked about a lot of their players. Carter Crispin, I think, was a really good first 5 games for him. He got comfortable in the offense.
No competition, though. That's the one thing that you can't.
Besides Liberty. Besides the Liberty game.
Of course.
But I think what it does is it gets some varsity reps. He gets comfortable, and he's hitting his playmakers. Kyle Enders is calling one heck of a defense like he always does. Parker McClure and Skylar Edmonds are phenomenal players, man. I love watching Skylar Edmonds play.
Yeah. Wyatt Milkovic and Parker McClure, any similarities between
big time, 2 different things. I mean, I think Parker, you look at Wyatt, I think he has a little bit more tangibles that college coaches are looking for.
Yes, for
Both
sure.
are phenomenal run fitters. Wyatt's still learning the position where Parker's a seasoned vet at the position.
Yeah, Wyatt, what is this? Literally maybe his 5th, 6th game starting at linebacker?
6th game at inside backer. He's a converted defensive end. But where Parker, I think his read is a lot faster, and that's just because he's played the position for so long. Wyatt will get there. Parker is amazing at inside backer.
That's the lead analyst for ArizonaVarsity.com. Mr. Cody Cameron. Cody, always appreciate the professionalism and what you do for our sport here in the great state 48. Props to you, my friend.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Thanks. Cody Cameron,
sir.
our guest. We're ready to begin half number 2 here from Jim Walsh Stadium on the campus of the Basha Bears. I'm Kevin Derrybear alongside Ed Cole. Ed joining me here in the booth tonight. And we've got a good one tomorrow night. James Poovey and I will be in the booth for Red Mountain and the Desert Ridge Jaguars, minus Coach Jeremy Hathcock. That's a Roy Lopez team. Cody, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, Cody.
There's not a lot of guys that know as much about the intricacies of high school football than that man right there, Cody Cameron. He's a young guy, and he's got a lot of fire and passion about this game, and he's really only trying to develop and help student athletes go to the next level. That is his role. Joining us here, our 3rd member of the broadcast team, my guy, James Poovey. James, welcome in on this Thursday night.
Gentlemen, happy second half. I'm pleased to be up here with you, 27-14. I think we got a lot more football to play here tonight.
It'll be Cole Martin once again. Last time he was in this spot, he took one to the house from 99 yards away, and we're ready to commence half number 2. It's Matthew Braun to put it in play. More of a onside kick or more of a pooch attempt, but running there and going ape with the football is Deshaun Buchanan. He is the... Well, let's double check. It wasn't good to see Deshaun, too, because at one point, no, it was Amir Williams that got shaken up on the far sideline. So it is Deshaun Buchanan on the return here. 11:53 to go. It will be at quarterback DeMont Williams Jr. Big first half. Had a touchdown pass to DeRay Scott Jr. 1st and 10. From their own 32-yard line, working right to left for the Basha Bears. They run it up the middle, and they run it to their bell cow, Deshaun Buchanan, already with 2 touchdowns here in tonight's contest. That same offensive line will get the start here in the second half, and those guys, they really had a tremendous first half. They were able to provide a lot of protection up front for DeMont Williams Jr. It was the right tackle, Cole Irvine. And it was James Durand Ryan Wheaton and Ryan Blum, and then also coming in was Amari Solomon. Big hole again to the near side. It's Buchanan. Spins out of another tackle, still on his feet, bulldozing people with him. They pull his helmet down and they give him a face mask there. And you can see striking the pose is Deshaun Buchanan right there as he looks towards that Basha Bears bench and does the old Superman look right there. But what an effort there by Deshaun Buchanan.
James,
Beast mode. How
James,
about that?
It is just the power of Buchanan, the power that he was willing to do whatever he needed to do to get those yards and keep the ball moving and keep the chains moving.
He's got that low pad level. He comes in there with authority, and he is going to take on tacklers, all comers for Buchanan.
Bob Shreves with the call here. 27-14, half number 2, 11-12 to go in this third quarter. Basha Bears with their first offensive series of the second half. Lining up to the slot to the right is Bryson Dedman. 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field, stacked up. Jamal Williams has one back, and it's Buchanan. Big hole, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, tries to spin out of another tackle. Is going to be brought down around the 35-yard line. Great work there trying to stand him up and keep him there was Khalil Hayes. Khalil Hayes having a nice game defensively for Mountain Pointe Pride.
Mountain Pointe doing a great job right there. Team defense, that's exactly what you want. Hold on, get that guy low around the legs, and wait for your troops to come and get you out.
For Khalil Hayes, his 26th tackle of the season. Clock rolling inside 11 minutes to go. Damon Williams claps the hands, snap back, fires over the middle field. The ball's caught in stride, and it's Dedman still on his feet at the 20, 15, and finally brought down close to the 12-yard line. That is the main man on the receiving end of things, Bryson Dedman, his 4th catch of this football game, and it's the run after the catch right there. He's elusive, he's got a lot of speed, and he's also got some toughness there as he's breaking tackles.
Kevin and James, it is so hard when Williams Jr. has the time to sit back there. His offensive line gives him all day long to find number 2. Once Dedman gets open and he gets free, he's almost unstoppable.
Unofficially, a gain of 35 yards. Damon Williams Jr. to Bryson Dedman. 1st and 10 from the Mountain Pointe Pride 14-yard line. Inside 10 to go, 27-14 our score. Damon Williams Jr. moves Miles Lockhart over to his right. There goes Dedman in motion. Dedman gets the handoff here. Dedman to the corner, turns the corner, up the sideline, and is going to be run out of bounds over there. Right near the goal line for Mr. Dedman. Little jet sweep right there, fellas.
Good stuff right there. A great heady block down the field as well there by number 13 for the Basha Bears, stock blocking and carrying that run for more positive yardage.
DeRay Scott Jr. getting the work done there for the wide receiver group. In fact, DeRay Scott Jr. has a touchdown here earlier tonight from Damon Williams Jr. 11th touchdown pass of the season. And there's another run and scoring a touchdown this time. This is Damon Williams Jr. Damon Williams Jr. on the quarterback keep. He breaks the plane of the goal line. He punches one in for 6 points here. That is the 11th rushing touchdown of the year for Damon Williams Jr.
Couldn't be any easier for Basha to just drive down the field, James and Kevin. Just effortlessly how Williams Jr. just runs his offense to perfection. They just move the ball, they move it, and they just never stop.
If you're Coach Chris McDonald, that's exactly what you want to have coming out of the half. Come out here and make a statement drive, go down and score the football, and increase your lead now over the Mountain Pointe Pride.
Chris McDonald in his 4th year trying to pick up his 23rd win here as the head coach of the Basha Bears. He's 22-15 on the chase for Tim McBurney. Most wins in Basha Bear history with 39 in a 6-year tenure. But Chris McDonald, he's the right hire here, taking over for Rich Welbrock. And Chris McDonald, he is a coach's coach. He's got the great lines. He's got that momentum. The coach speak. He is pumped up. And whenever I talk to Coach McDonald, I'm ready to go play tackle football.
Oh, no question. It was great when we had him on the schedule reveal show, right, gentlemen? He was so great that night, and he was so appreciative and so happy to have us here tonight broadcasting for the Epic Sports Network.
Snap is back. The snap is down, and the Trevor Miller right-legged kick is up and good once again. He remains perfect. Although for some reason, I can't say he's perfect because there was one kick that was blocked, that they were bum rushed the holder right there, and so that time that kick did not go. So it is 34-14. next week for the Basha Bears, after the Mountain Pointe contest, they will be at Highland, and just thinking about the 6A conference as it means to the undefeated record, moving towards the open division, maybe moving up in those rankings. That is another game on the schedule here. The Highland Hawks, led by their incredible coach, Coach Farrell.
Brock Farrell.
Yeah, Coach Farrell. I want to say Gary for some reason. Looking at another note here with another note, but Brock Farrell, a really outstanding coach, and Highland Hawks, the last 3 seasons have been on the 6A map.
And when you look at Mountain Pointe, it gets no easier for them. They've got Mountain View next week, and Mountain View's 5-1 right now, so the road gets no easier for them.
I think the Toros' first loss of the season came at the hands of the Red Mountain Lions last week.
Last week in the Battle of Brown Road, exactly, Kev. That was some kind of matchup out there at Jim Jones Field. And been a lot of talk this week, guys, about, the rankings finally came out this past Tuesday and, the Open and this and that. But a lot more football to be played. Everybody just needs to R-E-A-L or L-A-X, as Mr. Aaron Rodgers would say, right?
This is Cam Gillum on the return of a Trevor Miller kick. With that penalty, it was a shorter kick. You can see Cam Gillum was spotted up near the 15-yard line, took that kick out to across the 30-yard line.
Kev, you mentioned Cam Gillum. Last year against Basha, he had a really good game, 17 rushes, 139 yards. So you talk about Cam Gillum, he was a name to be called a lot last season.
For Gillum, 12 for 71 on the campaign. As you mentioned, that was an 8.2 yard per carry average. 34-14, 9:29 to go. The run game for Amir Williams. Big hole, left side, 50-yard line. Still on his feet. And he leaps over a defender right near the 45-yard line. For the Basha Bears, the only one there to make a play on Amir Williams was Jeremiah Vessel, 6 foot 185 against 5'11", 215. And that time it was Amir Williams with the hops.
5'11", 215, Kevin. You don't want to go high on that guy. As you can see there, you're not going to tackle him up around the shoulder pads. You've got to get him waist or below.
Ball spotted on the 44-yard line. Back to Amir Williams again with a big hole on the left side. Down the sideline to the 20-yard line. Just before the 20-yard line, he's going to get his legs taken out from underneath him. Making the play was Deshaun Buchanan. 8-on-8 crime over there. Multiple times here tonight, we've seen Deshaun Buchanan working on Amir Williams and vice versa.
James and Kevin Jack Plowty, the left guard, and Caleb Jones, the left tackle, opening that hole, also allowing Amir Williams to get free and do what he does best.
Mountain Pointe trailing 34-14. This is Arviso over the top, and this ball is going to be incomplete. A little too much gas on that one. Running the route, and an impressive route, was Jordan Huff. Looked like he had a step on the defender, Cole Martin, but the pass was just a little bit too tall, and it was out of the reach of Jordan Huff, who's got great athletic skills at 6'2", 170. He's a leaper, and he's got he's a sure-handed wide receiver. Clock stops at 9:09. Working left to right. They go back to the ground game for Amir Williams, and this time they stand him up. A robust front four this time for the Basha Bears. Getting in there, making things difficult. That was Ty Robinson once again. A couple of 40s down there.
That's the first time recently that Mountain Pointe offensive line has got a whole bunch of run-through right there. Usually they've given great protection so far here tonight to Arviso and provided a real punch in that running game as well.
And Basha had to be strong because Jalen Rushing is back there in the backfield and Amir Williams. That front four has got to be strong to stop number 33 and number 8.
In the backfield right now, it's Terrion Rowe. There goes Rowe in motion. They play fake it to Sparks. Arviso under pressure. He just gets rid of it, and he's going to go down. Let's see if there's any kind of infraction there. Wyatt Milkovic applying the pressure. He was one guy getting to the football. Also getting there was Tyson Simmons of the Basha Bears. 6'3", 235, a junior defensive lineman there all over that play. You talk about pressure. Arviso said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything with this, and I'm going to dump it out. That was clearly an intentional grounding foul on Arviso. So that'll cost him yardage and a down.
This Basha defense just so formidable, guys. You talk about Milkovic in there, 6'1", 228 pounds. This guy's only a junior, and he has got a motor.
To the top of the 8th we go, 1-1. San Francisco and Los Angeles, 4th and 10.
Oh, buddy.
Right now here on the 40-yard line of the Basha Bears, and it appears as though that Eric Lauer is going to punt it away. Matthew Braun has been summoned onto the football field. You look at the history of the Mountain Pointe Pride, they've won a lot of football games, but I mentioned prior to the 2021 season, just 2-16. But this is a program, a pride program, no pun intended. They've been to the postseason 18 times in their school's history. That's impressive in its own right. In fact, they're 86-36 in the last decade of the Mountain Pointe Pride. So Norris Vaughn did a tremendous job of building this football program. In fact, for Norris, in 9 years, he had 8 10-plus winning years. Went to the postseason all 9 times. Norris Vaughn went 99-19 for the Mountain Pointe Pride. All 9 years.
Wow.
They got to the postseason under Norris Vaughn. That is remarkable. And Chris McDonald is trying to change the culture here at Basha, and he's doing just that. With an influx of a young group of talent with some freshmen and some sophomores, and those freshmen became sophomores. Now those sophomores are on their way to becoming juniors next year. And this is how you build a program.
And shout out as well to Mr. Eric Magana, the athletic director here. Nothing but class. They've taken great care of us here this evening. We appreciate them having us over here at Basha tonight.
Williams Jr. from his own 13 throws a pass over the middle, and it's not going to reach the wide receiver. It was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't sure who got it, but one of the guys in the area was Jackson Mack. When it comes to the passing game for the Basha Bears, 1,579 yards coming into play tonight. That's second in the 6A conference for Mountain Pointe, 1,243, good for 8th. But the numbers are relatively close. But you can see that Damon Williams Jr. really excelling at the quarterback position. Takes the low snap here, puts it into the gut of Buchanan. Buchanan breaks the tackle, bounce it to the outside, and he's going to have his legs taken out from underneath him on a fantastic open field tackle there by Terrion Rowe. But Buchanan, he's got some hops too, guys. He's just got the elevation there, and he'll try to leap over defenders and continue to make plays.
Just the strength of Deshaun Buchanan to say, at 6 foot 185, I'm going to go ahead. I'm determined to get the yards and do what I have to do to get my team, my offense down the field. I will do whatever it takes. I will run through you literally to do that.
3rd and 2 from their own 20-yard line for Damon Williams Jr. Wearing that number 9. He's got some pink tape around his ankles tonight. Claps the hands, puts the ball into the hands of Buchanan, spots the hole, runs right through it, and then the Mountain Pointe Pride defense close up on that hole there. A little bit of a delay there, and Buchanan tried to shoot right through that hole. And just good defensive play there by the before-mentioned Jackson Mack. Second play in a row for Jackson Mack, wearing number 43 out there.
Mack closing up the gap right there up front for the Mountain Pointe defense. Another impressive thing about Buchanan is his vision. If you saw the play before last, he was able to really see how far wide he had to get in a hurry to get out there and get to the edge, and he is an impressive back here for Basha.
Boy, he's one of those backs that can run around you or run right through you. He's got that kind of ability, as does Jalen Rushing. Little show and go here for Williams. Down the sideline, there goes Damon Williams Jr., 40, 50, look out, 40, and he's finally going to be brought down. Another outstanding tackle there by another talented athlete, Amir Boyd Matthews. He's probably the only one on the field that could have caught number 9.
And it didn't even look like he was on his afterburners, James. He was at one speed, quick, fast, in a hurry down the sidelines.
Yeah, Ed, I think he was in maybe 3rd gear right there. He could have went 4th, maybe even 5th on that one right there. That was almost a foot race.
He might have been in 5th gear on that one.
Unofficially a 35-yard gain for Damon Williams Jr. He continues to show some scoots with those legs that he has. Now joining him in the backfield is Jeremiah Vessel, the one-time Louisiana product from the Bayou. Jeremiah Vessel.
Aye.
Clap of the hands. Ball's thrown out to the side. That is DeRay Scott Jr. up the sideline, and finally going to be grabbed and tackled right there, but not after DeRay Scott Jr. makes the catch and then picks up a little yak right after that catch.
It's all about those yaks, right, James?
Absolutely right. All about the yards after the catch, and Basha, one of the best teams at that right there.
Looked like Jawan Kennedy over there to make the stop. That's a gain of 8 on that pass play. Williams Jr. to Scott Jr. Inside 6 to play here, 34-14. Working right to left for the Basha Bears. Damon Williams Jr. again up the middle. He faked the pass left, tucked it and ran it right up the middle. Again, the progression, nothing there for him, and they just took off and ran it. Got positive yardage right there as the pressure came in, and Damon Williams Jr. showing those legs, and he's working those legs to execution here on this drive.
Yeah, Kevin, he was looking at Dravion Hathaway, either him or DeRay Scott Jr. He saw that both of those guys were covered, so he did the fake, and then he saw he had a hole right up the middle, and Williams Jr. took it right up the middle, called his own number, got some yards.
Gain at 8, 1st and 10 from the Mountain Pointe Pride 18-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right for Damon Williams Jr. Back to throw from the pocket. Over the middle of the field, the ball's caught inside the 5-yard line and trying to break a tackle and score a touchdown. Was the Bear target Kelby Riel Bird. And Bird made the catch and then had the ball stripped as he was trying to cross the plane of the goal line. Penalty marker back at the 25-yard line. This one might be coming back.
There was a lot of moving parts on that. There was a flag in the backfield and then another flag a little ways downfield, so we'll have to sort both of those out, but a tough-nosed play right there for Basha.
I tell you what, one thing I like about Damon Williams Jr. is his quickness in that release. He's got a quick release. He throws a pretty ball with accuracy, and he's got a cannon for an arm. Again, we remind you, just a sophomore for this young man here, Damon Williams Jr.
That is so impressive. Just jaw-dropping to watch a young man at his age run an offense the way he does. And as Chris McDonald, the head coach, was talking to us, he just got his driver's license. He just got his permit, fellas, and he's running an offense to near perfection.
Well, he's driving the Ferrari out here tonight, guys, is what he's doing with this Basha offense.
Damon Williams Jr. is just a sophomore, but he is 12-3 as the starting quarterback for this football team. Handed the keys to the kingdom last year, and he has done nothing but win football games here for Chris McDonald.
You know, one of the impressive parts about this Basha team as well, guys, roaming the sidelines down there in the first half, these guys are all business. Every time you see one of them, if they had a dead time on the sideline, they're over there watching film. They're in the playbook. I see Cole Martin down there just trying to get better. Every one of these guys is dialed in here for Basha.
The Basha Bears hold a 5-4 advantage over the Mountain Pointe Pride in the all-time series. Again, a 24-0 shutout win last season. But this is the 10th meeting between these two programs. And after all the penalties are sorted out, it'll be the Bears football back at the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 25 for Damon Williams Jr. Full wide receiver package. Snap is back with some time, all kinds of time. Throws to a wide open wide receiver to the near sideline. Making the catch, his second target in a row. That's Kelby Riel Bird. And this time, this catch is going to hold up. So that will be his first catch of the season for that youngster.
That could have been a little bit of miscommunication right there on the back end for the Mountain Pointe Pride defense. It looked like the safety did not roll down in time there to help out the corner, and Terrion Rowe all alone on an island out there, and Damon Williams all night to throw that football.
Thank goodness his offensive line gave him all night to sit back there and find Kelby Riel Bird to sit back there. He finds him wide open out there in the left and makes that completion, and again, keeps the ball moving, keeps the drive alive.
Gain of 17 for the 5th catch of the year for Riel Bird. 2nd and 8 from the 15-yard line. Clap of the hands for Williams Jr. Looks to the left side. Ball is going to be caught, making a move at the 10, make a move at the 5, stiff arm tackler, and score a touchdown. Miles Lockhart, give him 6.
How about it? Weaving in and out of traffic there. He just stood up the defender, got there, made a move on him. 6 points for the Bears. What a play right there.
That was outstanding footwork there by Miles Lockhart. For Lockhart, that is his 10th reception of the season, his 2nd receiving touchdown. And once he had the football and possession of the football, it was all Miles Lockhart with that footwork to get himself in the end zone. And then the stiff arm at the 5 for the finish.
When I look at his position, it says DB, ATH. ATH means athlete, athletic. He was athletic on that one.
We're seeing a lot of that now, guys. These guys that can just do everything for their football team. Put me down for an ATH.
Snap is back. The Trevor Miller kick is end over end, and it goes right down Broadway. 4:05 to go, quarter number 3, our new score, the Basha Bears, the number 3 team in the state of Arizona in the 6A conference, 41, and the Pride from Mountain Pointe, 14. Right now it is all Basha, and really you have to give the credit to the O-line. The O-line tonight, a shout out to the O-line. I tell you what, these guys have been dominant tonight. There's no other way to say it. They've been just dominant. Cole Irvine, Ryan Wheaton, Ryan Blum, and then, of course, James Duran, and then Omari Solomon is playing for the injured Braden Ossio. But these guys have been coached up very well, and they are just sticking it to the Mountain Pointe Pride defensive front.
Because we know everything happens on the inside out. Everything happens in the trenches, James and Kevin. Offensive line, if your offensive line is strong, you're going to have games like this when you're scoring 40 or more and you're averaging 46 points a game. That's what Basha's averaging this year. If your defensive line is strong, you're going to hold teams to 9 points. That's what Basha is giving up this season. They're strong offensively, defensively. Their O-line and D-lines are strong, and that sets the tone for everything.
Guys, when you got skill players like these Basha Bears have, and then you combine them with an offensive line that knows all about alignment, assignment, and technique, sky's the limit.
The Trevor Miller kick goes into the end zone. 41-14 our score. For the Basha Bears, the last 3 games, 56-17 over Shadow Ridge, 48-9 over Valley Vista, and then 49-3 over Desert Vista, who we all thought was a pretty good football team in the Desert Vista Thunder.
Yes, but Deshaun Buchanan and Damon Williams Jr., they ran for almost 200 yards between them. 20 rushes, 192 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Buchanan and Williams Jr. against DV.
Shout out to Mountain Pointe head basketball coach Kmar Price. Back-to-back final appearances for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Hustling on right now is 33, Jack Blyer. We mentioned Jack Blyer early on in this football game, and James wasn't with us then, but it was an easy segue to talk Pittsburgh Steelers football when we mentioned Rocky Blyer. Just a fantastic football name, and Jack Blyer, always a way to get it in, James.
Boy, I knew it wouldn't take very long. I thought it would take at least a quarter, Kev, but you managed to work it in mightily here with 3:30 left in the third.
Oh, no,
Nicely
we got
done.
it in early. Ball down the sideline. It's Isaiah Ice Robinson. And it was Robinson with a nice catch and run this time.
How about that name, Ice Robinson? I like that.
So cool. And, James, when I was printing out the roster for Basha, I saw number 33. I saw that name, Blyer. I knew Pittsburgh Steelers talk was coming in this broadcast.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Especially after his team thumped mine last weekend. But that's another discussion I'm sure we'll continue tomorrow night.
Yeah,
down
that's
at,
what you call
down
bad
at Skyline
football.
High School.
Yeah.
Bad football. That's all that was, is bad football.
I would agree.
Now we got Arviso to the far sideline, and watch out here. We got guys losing their helmets. There must be 4 flags on the field here. Arviso's pass to the far sideline went incomplete. He was trying to target what looked like Jordan Huff was the target. Here's Bob Shreves with the call, the man in the white hat down there. 3:23 to go in this third quarter on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. Thursday Night Football. It's 41-14. The Basha Bears have been as advertised here. We've seen an impressive ground game.
Personal foul against Mountain Pointe.
Deshaun Buchanan, and we've seen the arrival of Damon Williams Jr. and what he brings to the table as a super sophomore.
Offsetting penalties.
So our penalties will offset here. The ball looks like it's spotted around the 45-yard line of the Pride, working left to right. Devin Sparks is to the left of Chris Arviso. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Arviso, his pass is nearly intercepted. He threw the ball right into the hands of Wyatt Milkovic, and Milkovic only playing linebacker for now in what is his 7th game of the season. Nearly had a chance at intercepting that one, and had he picked that one off, Ed, you know what was in front of him. Nothing but green grass.
James, how close was that to being a pick 6?
So close, Ed. That was in his breadbasket. I think it surprised him. That's why he couldn't corral that football.
Jalen Rushing is checked into this ball game. I'm not sure what Eric Lauer's game plan is right now, but I'd be running those 2 1 and 2 tailbacks, Amir Williams and Jalen Rushing, all night long and then some. This is Amir Williams. This time he gets the carry. Second level, and he gets upended around the 47-yard line. That was a tremendous form tackle there. And so you can pick up who picked up on that tackle. Gain of 9. Play fake, Arviso to Sparks, and Sparks works up the sideline. Kind of spun out of bounds right there with a little trash talking to go with it, perhaps, from Miles Lockhart. Miles Lockhart. Well, no, let's see here. Yes, that is Miles Lockhart on the near side. Also walking away from the sideline there was Jeremiah Vessel. He, too, likes to chat it up just a little bit. Jeremiah, we mentioned he was from Louisiana, but he says, I just have a great time playing with all these kids. He said, certainly we run into some challenges from time to time. We don't always get along, but we love to compete with one another, and we love to push each other to become better. And that's from Jeremiah Vessel. Some strong leadership.
Another young star
right
there for Basha, just a junior. You got Milkovic. You got him coming back next year. The cupboards are loaded here for Coach McDonald.
4th and 1 from the Bear 46-yard line. Arvizo has 2 backs to his left. Snap to Arvizo, puts on the hands of Amir Williams, and Amir Williams is going to leap over the defensive line there, pick up the first down, and live to play on here as they'll move the sticks. 1st and 10 Mountain Pointe as they enter Basha Bear territory here. Ball will be spotted just inside the 45-yard line. Arvizo back to work through the air again, and the pass was nearly intercepted. He wanted 7, but number 7, Jeremiah Vessel, jumped the route and darn near picked that one off. Amir Boyd Matthews was the original target, but as we had 7-on-7 crime, we've had 8-on-8. These guys love the single digits. And now, if you guys have seen this too, in the National Football League, they've changed the rules, and players are now allowed to wear single digits at the most unique positions.
Not a fan, I have to say.
It's difficult.
Yeah, me neither. I don't like it.
It's difficult to latch on because
it's very strange.
You might think that number 1 is your wide receiver, and you're like, no, that's our defensive end. That's common.
It's our 3 technique wearing number 1 right there.
Back to the ground game here for the Mountain Pointe Pride. Inside 2.5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Amir Williams gets the carry once again, and deservedly so. Amir Williams has been the leading rusher on this football team.
Boy, Arvizo has dodged near disasters, right, James? Almost a pick 6 against Milkovic and also Jeremiah Vessel on that last play. He saw nothing but green grass in front of him, so he is dodging. He is really on the edge, Arvizo, as far as disasters are concerned.
He's seen his life flash before his eyes a couple times here just on this drive.
Arvizo sends Sparks out to the left. He's got Sparks if he wants him. He's got plenty of time. He throws down the field, and the ball is in and out of the hands of the intended target, Isaiah Ice Robinson. Now, gentlemen, I have to pose the question to you. You see it typed up here on our Max Preps roster, Isaiah Ice Robinson, the all-region second-team performer out of the 6A Central region. But the name Ice, was that had to have been given to him, right? Because you can't give yourself that kind of a name. Someone else has to give that to you, right?
Yeah.
Well, that should be the way it is with all nicknames, right? You don't ever give yourself a nickname. Somebody gives you a nickname.
No, but you don't see it typed up. And here it is, right here, Isaiah Ice Robinson.
I'm sure that's on his birth certificate then. Maybe his mom and dad had a discussion. Yeah, let's call our son Ice Robinson. That'd be cool.
In fairness, because we don't know, it could be a hyphenated name. Maybe his last name is Ice.
It is hyphenated on the roster.
No, I know, but maybe it's Isaiah Ice.
Yeah, like maybe his dad's last name is Ice, and no, maybe his mom's name is Ice and his dad's name is Robinson.
The conversations we have at 41-14, right?
Very interesting. Either way, we could tell you this about Isaiah. He's got ice water in his veins the way that he's playing here tonight. And speaking of ice water, it looks like our technical producer, Mr. Greg Jones, is producing tonight's game in Alaska the way he's dressed right now.
He's a little chilly over there, huh?
If I didn't know any better, we are.
Jones, are you okay? You look cold? Oh, that's right. He's got a cold, right?
He's ill.
He's got a cold, James. That's what it is.
We just got word our technical producer is ill. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Jones household.
Yeah, we got our social distancing here. So.
The house divided currently, we heard before the game tonight.
Oh, well, thank goodness Miss Cat is upstairs.
Yes.
By the way, one more shout-out for Mason Arhen. Thoughts and prayers for you, young man, as you recover from your surgery here today. And just an outstanding performance for your team here. Facing a 4th and 7 from the 41-yard line here because Chris Arvizo. Snap is back. They run it right up the middle. No, they don't. This is going to be a flea flicker. And the ball is going to be caught down the middle of the field. And scoring a touchdown is Jordan Huff off the pass from Amir Boyd Matthews. A little flea flicker. And it's Jordan Huff with his 3rd reception in the end zone this season.
and that's the third touchdown pass for Boyd Matthews this season. We talked about how he would possibly get some snaps at quarterback, even though that was a little bit of a trickeration, fellas. It worked as Boyd Matthews connects with Jordan Huff, and they got that score, cutting it to a 21-point lead.
That's what you want. You want all that misdirection, all that action going on in the backfield, draw those eyes of the defenders back there, and then out comes number 9 leaking out into the open space for a touchdown.
Well, let's be honest. That's what you guys wanted. I was hoping for a swift getaway so we can catch that extra inning ball game there in Oracle. But, we all have a different perspective.
Yeah.
The point after try is up and through. Mr. Matthew Braun drills the PAT. 1:43 to go in this third quarter. From Basha High School, our new score, the Bears 41 and the Mountain Pointe Pride 21. Just go back to the Mountain Pointe Pride for just a second. Carl Kiefer, a legendary coach, 14 seasons as the front man. Carl Kiefer, in fact, at Mountain Pointe Pride, we have Carl Kiefer Field, so you can just understand the legacy, what this man meant to the Mountain Pointe Pride football program. But Carl Kiefer, his son Kent, played at McClintock back in the day. I think even Kent maybe had a stint at ASU, but Carl Kiefer, the late Carl Kiefer, one of the greats in high school football, and he wore the maroon and gold with a lot of pride. Again, no pun intended for Mountain Pointe. Just a fantastic coach and a fantastic man that we all had the chance to get to know a little bit here in the Valley of the Sun. 41-21. Some great coaches, though, that have roamed the sidelines for the Pride, including Phil Abadessa and, of course, I mentioned Norris Vaughn. Norris Vaughn is just, he's been one of the best that we've ever seen here in the great state. There's an onside kick. There's a scrum for the football. The Pride believe they've got it. The Basha Bears indicate they have the football. That's Jeremiah Vessel playing official right now. He says the ball goes this way. Well, let's wait for the scrum to be complete, and let's wait for the officials, for Bob Shreves, to tell us who's got the football. That's Shreves. S-C-H-R-E-V-E-S. Shreves. Not to be called Shreves. 41-21, $1:39 to go in the third quarter. They go to the ninth in Oracle. It's 1-1.
Of course it is.
Can you believe that?
Nope.
Both teams have won 109 games, and somebody has to lose tonight, and the season will be over. That is a travesty.
For the right to meet the Atlanta Braves in the National League Championship Series, it's coming down to this.
Who won how many games?
88.
Folks, make sure you get on Twitter here coming up in our fourth quarter. Just another minute and 39 seconds away. We're going to vote for the Pit Boss Game MVP. We'll narrow it down to the top 4 candidates. I'll get those guys from Ed and Kevin here momentarily, and then we'll have you vote. We'll have the polls open for about 15 minutes, so make sure and follow us at Epic Sports AZ on Twitter so you can vote for that Pit Boss Game MVP.
20-point ball game here for Demond Williams Jr. Back to throw with all kinds of time once again. Steps up in the pocket. He's at the 40. Going to tuck it and run. 45. Bounce to the outside 50. Down the sideline 45. And he'll just run out of bounds. He'll just glide out of bounds with a lot of style and swagger is Demond Williams Jr., Niner.
He's another guy that never looks like he's going full speed, Kev.
Yeah, and we were talking with Cody Cameron there at the break, and he wants to be a passer first. And in this game in particular, he has really shown the ability to read the entire field. And then if nothing's there, then and only then will he take off. But he really wants to become a passer first. And it's interesting you see, I was looking for a comp on Demond Williams Jr. And I'm going to get a little crazy here, but Lamar Jackson's one of those guys that can run all over the place. He can run like the Dickens. He's learning to become a passer, and Lamar Jackson's stock is going up as a passer.
Oh, no question.
Williams Jr. again with all kinds of time. He's got the happy feet. He throws on the run. The ball's going to be caught over the middle field at the 40-yard line. Bounces to the outside and finally brought down to the turf. Making the reception was Colby Real Bird, his second catch of the night. They're calling him Real Bird. Kelby Real Bird. And you wonder again, is that a hyphenated name or is that just something with some real swag to it? Real Bird.
And Kevin, going back to Lamar Jackson, what he did on Monday night against the Indianapolis Colts, they were down 22-9. He throws 3 straight touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Again, that just immediately, his stock continues to rise. He threw for almost 450 yards in that game against Indianapolis to rally Baltimore back. Incredible.
But I got to check with Frank Reich and ask him what was going on in that secondary, because Now
you're going way back.
Way back. Talking some Dallas Cowboy. Well, we talked Rocky Blyer. It's only fitting to bring in this young man. It's Buchanan again, as Buchanan finally gets decked to the turf there by, who else? Number 8, Amir Williams. You got to figure that those two guys, when they shake hands at the end of this game, there's going to be a couple of nice words exchanged between those two dudes, because those guys have been going at it all evening long.
There have been some great battles here tonight on the field between the Basha Bears and the Mountain Pointe Pride, and there's so many stars out here tonight. It's been a pleasure to watch this one, and we got one more quarter to go, boys.
3 quarters are in the books here from Basha High School. Moving to the 4th quarter, our score, Basha 41, Mountain Pointe 21. You are watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
Let's be honest, the world has changed. Everything is done a little differently now. But what hasn't changed is the time that you spend with us is still amazing. And even though things have been tough, we're here to help you unwind. Sheraton Tucson, showing you that the good times are back. We can't wait to see you. So get ready. It's time to check in.
Taylor's Pools. You can trust Taylor to take great care of your pool and ensure your complete satisfaction. From weekly cleanings to one-time cleanings, from pool draining to pool refilling, he does it all. Green to clear transformations, repairs, and new equipment installations. Trust your pool to Taylor's Pools. Call 623-200-2788. That's 623-200-2788. Taylor's Pools, a proud partner of Thursday Night Football.
Let's be honest, the world has changed. Everything is done a little differently now. But what hasn't changed is the time that you spend with us.
Welcome back to the home of the Basha Bears. We go right to the run game again. Damon Williams Jr. gives it up to the backfield here. Handoff to Deshaun Buchanan. And Buchanan continues to run well. Runs with a lot of power, runs with a lot of authority, and boy, can he pick up those legs and put them out. He just continues to just churn right through there.
Folks, make sure and follow us on Twitter at Epic Sports AZ. You can vote now for the Pit Boss Grills game MVP. Our final 4 narrow down Damon Williams Jr., the quarterback, Jalen Rushing, a running back, Deshaun Buchanan, and Amir Williams for the Pride. Get on Twitter and vote now. Follow us at Epic Sports AZ.
Buchanan with another 10-yard run up the middle. He's to the right now of the quarterback, Damon Williams. Wide open receiver at the 10, the 5, and he's going to run in and score a touchdown. That looked like Logan Fuller for the second time tonight.
It was.
So Logan Fuller with a catch. This time he takes this one into the end zone from 10 yards away. Another touchdown pass from Damon Williams Jr. He's got 12 of those, and it's now 47-21.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask, why was number 18 so wide open? Why was there not a defensive back or a safety over in that area, covering that area? It was Logan Fuller and grass.
Yeah, a definite miscommunication right there on the back end, Ed, for the Mountain Pointe Pride, and Basha made him pay.
I got to tell you, I didn't see where the defender was because the monitor that's strategically placed on our broadcast table blocked me off from that near pylon.
Which is why I'm sitting up top. You see me sitting higher?
Yep.
Sit up here with me. You'll see everything.
I'm trying to keep things cool right now. We're in a pennant race, Ed. Point after try by Trevor Miller is once again right down University. It's 48-21 with 11:14 to go here from Jim Wall Stadium. And for the Basha Bears, they've won 12 of the last 13 games. This is a team that has made the postseason 16 out of 17 seasons in their program's existence. And that's phenomenal as well. Founded in 2002, their first year of tackle football was 2004, and then they played in the 5A D1 back in 2005. The Basha Bears, I don't think they get the love for the historical success that they have had.
Absolutely not. A tradition-rich program out here in the far southeast valley. We're on the border of the Santan Valley right here, actually at Val Vista and Riggs, but tradition-rich program here, and they just continue to rise.
What Chris McDonald has done here with this program, it is nothing short of astonishing, and he's got them in great position. This is definitely a championship caliber organization that he is running right here. They're running on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams. This is a complete football team.
They're going back deep for Isaiah Ice Robinson from his own goal line. Angles to the 5, 10. Penalty marker comes in, and finding a crease was Ice Robinson. as he veered towards the middle of the field, spotted a little crease there, took it to the middle, and then he got dropped to the turf there by Hardwick. Penalty marker on the field once again. There's been a lot of calls here in this one, no doubt about it. Thursday Night Football, don't have any other scores around the State 48. Not a typical Friday evening where we could give you 30 or 40 scores in a row, but there is other action around the great State 48 here tonight. It's 48-21 here in this one.
11 games total tonight, gentlemen, if you can believe that, here in Arizona. 11 games.
Just like to pass along a score from Oracle Park in San Francisco. I think it's imperative to get this score out. In the top of the ninth inning, it's 2-1 as Cody Bellinger has hit an RBI single. It's appropriate to mention that because Cody Bellinger grew up out this way and played for Hamilton High School for Coach Woods. Cody Bellinger, the pride of Arizona, and now the pride of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 2-1 in the ninth. Can they hold on? Kenley Jansen has come on in the eighth, so we'll have to see if Kenley goes out there to pitch the ninth or what they do. But it's all rolling right now at Oracle Park.
And fellas, more Thursday Night Football. The world champion Buccaneers go to Philadelphia and beat the Philadelphia Eagles 28-22. Tom Brady and the Bucs are 5-1.
Wow. 28-22. That's palatable. Let's hope that Tom Brady only has one touchdown pass in tonight's game. That would be delightful. Arvizo on the scramble. He rolls to the far side. He wanted Devin Brooks in the flat, but Cole Martin was on the hunt right there, and they were unable to complete that pass play. So the clock will stop at an even 11 minutes to go here, 48-21.
Tom Brady, 34 of 42, 297, and 2 touchdowns, so he did not do what you wanted him to do.
No, I didn't. I was going against him, so that's palatable. He's been going for 405 every week, so I'll take that. Now, the real question is how did Jalen Hurts do? That's the real question there. Arvizo will have 4 wide receivers now, make it 5. He's got 4 of them to the far side of the field. Wilkovic showing blitz. He's coming, and the pass is incomplete. He wanted a slant to Jordan Huff at Arvizo, but coming from the outside, applying some pressure in a hurry was Wyatt Milkovic.
Great close right there by Milkovic. This guy is some kind of linebacker. He's able to cover in space, whether it be curl to flat, and his run support is next level.
So back on the field here will be, well, we'll just have to wait and see. 10:58 to go, 48-21 our score. We'll have another broadcast for you tomorrow from Desert Ridge High School as the Mountain Lions will be on the road taking on the Jaguars. First time Coach Mike Peterson will coach up against Roy Lopez, as Coach Lopez now in his first year taking over for Jeremy Hathcock. And both those programs, the Desert Ridge Jaguars and the Red Mountain Lions, respectively, have both gone to the postseason, I want to say 14 years in a row. And last year was the first time that neither program made the postseason. And Williamsville was also in that category as well. You talk about storied programs that continue to make it happen year in and year out. They reload, and they go to the postseason every single year. Much like this Basha program, 17 of 18 years. Just remarkable.
Unbelievable tradition. And you mentioned the first time those guys missed the playoffs. Almost unheard of, but hopefully trying to climb their way back into that playoff hunt this season. We'll see.
You know, it was so tough because what we all lived through last year over the last 18 months to 2 years, and I know that that's affected a lot of football programs, not just – it affected all of our lives, but as far as athletics are concerned, it affected a lot of football programs, James and Kevin, and it's just a lot of these programs like Basha and Mountain Pointe, you did what you had to do to get through that season and get your guys, your young men, as healthy as possible.
No question about it. So after that, what appeared to be a long delay, it's the Mountain Pointe Pride will appear to want to punt it. Mr. Braun's back out there from his own end zone, about 5 yards deep into his own end zone. It's a low snap. He gets the punt away. He angles to the far side. It's Cole Martin back deep. Takes a great carom. You got Martin up there with Willie Tucker, and Cole Martin says, you know what? I've been through this before. I'm going to let this one go. But you know, Cole Martin was waiting to the very last second to make that decision. Because you know playmakers down there, they believe that on every single snap of the football they can score.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that's what Cole Martin was thinking right there as we saw Cole Martin with his first touch of the night, take it 99 yards to the end zone for what we believe is the longest scoring play in Basha Bears high school history.
James, that young man's averaging 45 yards per kickoff return, almost 16 yards per punt return. Kid's almost unstoppable once you let him get loose.
You know, Brecken and I saw that play down there from, we were about the 10, maybe the 15-yard line. We couldn't tell how deep he was, but I had no idea it was 99.
So we'll make a quarterback change here to the Basha Bears. Ethan Lane now will take a couple snaps. He'll finish things up here for Chris McDonald. For Coach McDonald, was the Central Region Coach of the Year last year. His team went 6-3. They lost that overtime game in the quarterfinals out north to Sandra O'Connor. Here it's 48-21 with 10:18 to go. The Basha Bears have outscored the opposition 277-55 before play began tonight. Pass over the middle. Ethan Lane completes it to Dodd Strongfellow. Darren Dodd Stringfellow making the catch. He's had a few plays here tonight, Ed.
Oh, yeah. I like the way that kid plays the football. 5'10", 165. Another one of those athletes. Had 307 yards, 15 catches, and a touchdown coming into this game.
Gain of 14 yards to Dodd Stringfellow.
Folks, make sure you get online, follow us at Epic Sports AZ, and vote for your Pit Boss Grills game MVP. We got it narrowed down to 4. You got 5 minutes left to vote.
Lane's pass to the outside. Intended target was Jockey Lynn Hardwick. Another impressive name. We're 17, 5'9", 155. Had one catch for 7 yards against Desert Vista last week. Clock will stop here at 9:49 to go. You love the idea here. It's 48-21. You're going to make a quarterback change. You bring in Ethan Lane, and you continue to chuck the rock.
Just keep on going up top, right?
They never stop coming at you.
Just when you think that you're going to just run the football and
of course
run out
not.
the clock. There's a little delay there. And this is Xavier Sharp running with the football, the sophomore. Sharp had a touchdown last week against Desert Vista. He had 23 yards on 4 carries, and now Sharp with a little run right there with some success for Xavier Sharp.
Gentleman number 17, Willie Tucker, the cornerback, is down right now for Mountain Pointe.
He's cramping up. Let's talk Sharp football. Who was better, Sterling Sharp or Shannon
this
Sharp?
Should be fun.
You got Shannon out of Savannah State. And I'm trying to think of where Sterling went to school, but Sterling's career was cut short due to a neck injury. But I'll tell you what, Sterling Sharp at one point was one of the most dynamic wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers in his time.
Yes, he was.
You know, a lot of you young guys that might be watching or listening tonight have never seen or heard of Sterling Sharp. Get on and take a look at him because he was some kind of receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
He was a Gamecock.
Gamecock, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't see it, but it came to me. South Carolina. Yeah, he was a tremendous football player.
Yes, he was.
I remember at one
good broadcaster, too.
Yes, at one year playing fantasy football, I had the 12th pick, and I literally took Jerry Rice with 12, and with my next pick, first pick of the second round, Sterling Sharp. Yes, sir, I had both those receivers, and I just thanked everybody for allowing me to have that happen. Running the football again and trucking people. This time it looked like it was Ben Frick this time. So Ben Frick lowers the brick and lowers the boom on the defensive back right there. And forgive me, I did not see who took the brunt of that hit, but it was a vicious pop there by Mr. Frick.
Gentlemen, it's amazing. As you mentioned, Ethan Lane can come in. Bren Frick comes in. Xavier Sharp. The second level of this football team is just as strong.
High snap for Ethan Lane. He's going to scramble with the football. He's got nowhere to go this time as the Pride try to strip it away from him. Mountain Pointe Pride all over that particular play. In there for Mountain Pointe was Tyrese Henderson. He was the first guy there, but you had a Pride of Mountain Lions there trying to rip the ball away. 8:40 to go, 48-21, fourth quarter action. You are watching Thursday Night Football on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network.
3 minutes left to vote. People get in there and vote. Right now leading the way for the Pit Boss Grills game MVP with 50% of the vote is Damon Williams Jr. checking in with a tie for second between Deshaun Buchanan and Amir Williams.
So Damon Williams Jr. has a hand in 3 touchdowns tonight. He's got 2 passing, 1 running. And Deshaun Buchanan has been impressive running the football. Amir Williams on the other side, and then Jalen rushing. All 4 candidates tonight are all worthy of the player of the game. If I had to lean to just 2 right now, I would probably say Buchanan, and maybe coming in a hurry is Damon Williams Jr. I've been impressed with this young man. Numbers aren't gaudy because the game script hasn't presented that. They've been in command really since the Cole Martin 99-yarder. And why isn't Cole Martin a candidate? That has to be a question, right?
No doubt.
You got to figure that Cole Martin could be a candidate.
Yeah. We could add a 5th slot to that, yeah. Add a 5th slot, James.
Go ahead, right in the 5th slot, folks.
5th slot,
Number 21,
James.
Cole Martin. He has over 30 Division I offers, and he housed one from 99 yards here tonight.
Kind of like the 2-minute, 20-second limit and the 140-character limit. There is a 4 limit on the poll on Twitter. But I would.
Before play began tonight, the Bears were averaging 47.2 points a ball game. I think Ed might have shared that with you early on. That's number 1 in the 6A conference. In comparison to that, in contrast to that, if you will, the Mountain Pointe Pride 19th in the 6A conference, averaging 25.7 points a ball game. Pass yards for the Bears from Basha, 263.2. That's good for second in the 6A. Ethan Lane, a high snap. They dump it over the middle again, and making the catch there was Ben Frick. As Ben Frick makes the catch and then turns up the field. He gets tackled there by the Pride's Cirrus Renteria. Cirrus Renteria, linebacker, 5'10", 165, and there's no need to say Edgar Renteria, Ed. I know you were thinking it. It's just,
I actually was.
You don't have to go that route. It's just too easy, right?
Yeah, Cirrus, one of their better athletes, linebacker, 33 tackles coming to the season, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks for that young man.
Ethan Lane directing traffic at the line of scrimmage. All 3 wide receivers to the left side, 1 wide receiver to the near side. That wide receiver to the near side is Isaiah Perkins. Lane to the far side of the field. The ball is going to be, it looks like it is caught. Making the reception initially here is Realbird, Kelby Realbird. And he made the catch, but he was about 1.5 yards shy of the line to gain. So that'll be a turnover on downs here for Eric Lauer's group. Coach Lauer in his 2nd year for Mountain Pointe. Took over for Rich Wellbrock. And it's interesting because Rich Wellbrock, who coached here for the Basha Bears, also coached for the Mountain Pointe Pride. And he was a longtime head coach for the Desert Edge Scorpions out there in the 6-2-3.
Final results are in. Give it to him, Ed Cole. It looks like we have.
Watch a little film tomorrow morning and enjoy Friday night off in grand fashion. They'll just relax and watch some high school football and enjoy the evening off. And you talk about Thursday night football and what it means to different coaches, different programs. It really means different things to different people, different programs. It's all about the approach.
Absolutely right, Kev. We're going to be, speaking of Thursday night football, we're going to be out in Maricopa next Thursday night for the Notre Dame Prep Saints and the Maricopa Rams.
Now they're a little bit of a. Does that thing go final?
It says end of 9th.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Are we going to overtime, Kev? Or extra innings, I should say?
No. Looks like it's over.
It's over.
Looks like the Dodgers are moving on, ladies and gentlemen.
Dodgers and the Braves.
All right.
You have no idea, Brecken, how much I want to just rejoice right now, young man.
Wow.
Hey, give him
Cody Bellinger.
Brecken, I got to tell you, young man, it's good to have
Go
you here.
Dodgers!
Oh, wow, I'll tell you what.
Whoa.
That came out of nowhere right there. That sounded good, too.
Yeah.
That sounded good, Brecken.
Cody Bellinger, RBI single.
Big hole up the middle. It's rushing again. Literally bulling over people. Boy, Jalen Rushing, it's just fascinating when you have Rush in your name, and he did a number on, I believe, Jack Blyer. But we'll double check that. It might have been 2s. It was either, no, I think it was Tommy Process, to be honest with you. I don't want to do Jack Blyer any disservice. And there goes the quarterback, and he goes down in a heap. He's sacked. Great pressure from the Basha Bears.
Either one of you guys surprised that Arviso's still in the ballgame here for Mountain Pointe?
Somewhat.
Somewhat, yes. I would think maybe they would have given Boyd Matthews a little bit more time at quarterback now, kind of switch it up, but.
I thought Ryan Wheaton made the sack. I was continuing to look up the number, and that doesn't seem right either. 6'2" on the sack. Omri Sullivan has been playing both ways tonight. Also playing on that right side of the offensive line. 3rd and 5 from the 19-yard line. Arviso back to throw. Pump fakes. Throws for the end zone. The ball is incomplete. You wanted Jordan Huff for the second time tonight. And Jordan Huff with a nice route there. More of a jump ball for Jordan. More whistles and more penalties on this one. And James and I go back and forth on some other contests, and we always talk about the officials one way or the other. Typically, it's not a lot of bashing. It's just the amount of penalties. And what we've come to realize over the years is that from the officials' point of view, they've got to call the game for the entire 4 quarters. So in this case, 48 minutes. Because if they start to call a game when it's 48-21, as they take on the responsibility for next week's game, they have those and can develop some bad habits. So they have to call everything that they see through all 4 quarters. That's just what they have to do. As this pass is dumped out to the Pride's Terrion Rowe. His 3rd catch here tonight.
Well, all you can ask for, Kev, from the officiating crew is consistency. And if they're going to call a game a certain way, they got to do it for all 48 minutes.
And we know it's a tough job. You're never going to make everybody happy with the calls that you make, but you have to have your courage of your convictions, James and Kevin, to call what you see on the field and let the chips fall where they may. You're not going to make everybody happy.
By the way, that Dodger win tonight, team win number 110. Giants, 109 wins this year. Not enough. Another flea flicker. Boyd Matthews down the field. The ball's going to be picked off. It's intercepted. Here come the Basha Bears. It's processed one more time. And he's finally dropped down. Let's see if it holds up. Penalty marker back at the 35-yard line. And skipping over the penalty marker was Jeremiah Vessel. He did everything but step on it. He just kind of jumped right over it. Or within his walking steps, he just stepped over it. Big game James Moore will pick up the penalty marker. And Bob Shreves with the call here. $1:48 left to go in this one. We are at Jim Wall Stadium on the campus of Basha High School. Special thank you to the Joneses, Kat and Greg, our cinematographer and our executive producer here this evening. Special thank you to James Poovey. And, of course, my partner this evening in the booth was Ed Cole.
Also, shout out to Joey Moscaro down there on the sideline camera this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joey, for your contributions.
And also Brecken Poovey.
And a special thank you to you, the viewers at home, as Ethan Lane will take the snaps here again. Working left to right, up 48-21. Pump fake for Lane. He put the ball into the hands of the tailback. A little handoff there. Carrying the football for Basha was Ben Frick. Tell you what, guys, it'll be a lot of fun to watch the Basha Bears throughout the rest of this season. This is a football team that's well coached. They played well tonight. They've got playmakers all over the place on both sides of the football. They got a great kicker, so their special teams is in line. This is a team that could really, truly surprise some people down the road. And when you talk about, well, can they beat Hamilton or can they beat Chandler? Quite frankly, with the way that they're playing football right now, I'd like to see them have a chance at one of those 2 schools.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be a great game, wouldn't it? I mean, these guys, like you said, you talked about them having solid players, solid game plans in all 3 phases, and this team could definitely make some waves in the postseason.
It is really incredible. The youth on this football team has risen to the top, and it has them where they are at 7-0 right now. Looks like it with 1:08 left to go, 7-0 as they get ready to face Highland next week. Highland's undefeated at 5-0. That's not going to be an easy one for Basha to get, but it was a good litmus test for them to see where they are going against a really good Mountain Pointe team. As you mentioned, they'll break down the film and get ready. They'll do their workouts and get ready for Highland next week, but this is a really good victory for Basha.
It's an impressive home win, and you look at Highland next week, and boy, they're still throwing the football. Now that's interesting. Ethan Lane out in the flat, making the reception was Nick Lockett, his first catch of the game, and Nick Lockett takes it close to the 50-yard line. In fact, they're going to mark it right at the 50-yard line.
I got to shout out number 79 out there, guys, the young center coming in there. He was anxious. I looked him up on the roster, didn't see him on the roster, but he was anxious to get out there. I love to see young guys ready to get in there and make a contribution. He's going to be the center of the future here for the Basha Bears.
James, I'd like to back you up on that, but there's no 79 on the roster. And so what we did, we just backed him up by being kind of funny. That's what we did right there.
Yeah.
If you saw that. Final 18 seconds to go here at Jim Wall Stadium on the campus of Basha High, where Chris McDonald's football team improved to 7-0 after a 48-21 win. And for the Mountain Pointe Pride, they will fall to 4-3. Their 2-game win streak is snapped after they had those big wins over the Perry Pumas and the Castile Colts. We'd like to thank everyone for participating on tonight's MVP, our Pit Boss Player of the Game, and our Pit Boss Player of the Game was two guys tonight, right?
That's right, co-MVPs.
Damon Williams Jr. and along with Amir
Williams
for the Mountain Pointe Pride. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and wrap things up on the Epic Sports Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Basha High School, where it's gone final here. 48 minutes are ancient history as the Basha Bears cruise 48-21. A lot of explosion tonight, a lot of fireworks, none bigger than the 99-yard kickoff return from Cole Martin to kind of set the tone after an 80-yard touchdown drive by the Pride. They punch it in with Jalen Rushing. You thought we're going to go toe-to-toe. This is going to be a heavyweight bout here, and the Basha Bears just proved to be the superior team here in the 6A conference tonight.
Right, after Rushing got that first touchdown, they ran up 27 straight points, Basha did, and it was just all about the talent that they have on there offensively and defensively. This is a complete football team, and they're 7-0 for a reason, because this is an outstandingly coached football team, and they're run so well. Again, by the youth movement is on display with Damon Williams Jr. running his offense to near perfection, and everybody they've got on defense. So many strong players on defense that get stuff done. Jack Blyer, Jackson Browning, Ty Robinson, and the rest of the crew on defense. This is a team that is a force to be reckoned with. You mentioned Cole Martin, so offense, defense, special teams, all phases of football, this team is excellent at.
Yeah, they're good. And, Mountain Pointe, Amir Williams was special tonight. He's got a big-time ability to go forward. I think their quarterback, Arviso, great ball skills. He just needs some work, needs a little more time to honing his craft. But an overall impressive win here for the Basha Bears. They improved to 7-0 for our outstanding broadcast crew. I'm Kevin Derryberry. Until next time, so long for now.